Are you one of the 1.5 million UK customers that have used MedExpress for your healthcare journey? If not, accessing treatments for sexual health is now easier than ever. You don't need to visit your GP or pharmacy. Just complete a short online consultation to find the right treatment for you. We'll send your treatment directly to your door, delivered to you in discreet packaging with ongoing support from our experienced UK-based medical team. Take the first step towards managing your health concerns with confidence. Visit medexpress.co.uk to learn more.
With Lidl Plus, you can get something for everyone with 3 for 2 across our party time range. Bowel buns, veggie spring rolls, pigs in blankets and more. All made to share. Now there's plenty more delicious reasons to keep the party going. Lidl, more to value. 18 plus GB only while stocks last. Terms apply. See lidl.co.uk/LPTV. Offer ends 26th of the 11th, 25.
In her framing shop, Sally's got an eye for precision, plus a computer full of customer orders and precious memories. There are locks on the doors and sensors on the windows. But what's securing it all is BT Cybersecurity. With business antivirus, cloud protection, and security awareness training, it helps stop threats before they strike, keeping sensitive business data safe. Because protecting your business takes more than just toughened glass and a steady hand. Cybersecurity is everyone's business. Search BT Business Cybersecurity.
Private healthcare sounds pricey.
At Benenden Health, it's less than £16 per person per month.
Just for GP calls?
For a 24/7 GP helpline, physio, diagnostics and more. Now, tell me.
All about my medical history?
No medical questionnaires or hidden charges. We like to call it
healthcare done different.
Spot on. Benenden Health. Healthcare done different. Fee review periodically. 6-month wait for some services. T&Cs apply. Selected surgical procedures after 6 months. 24 in Northern Ireland. UK only. Visit benenden.co.uk.
It's game day, and this is the home of Scottish football. It's Clyde 1 Super Scoreboard.
Good afternoon and welcome to Clyde 1 Super Scoreboard on a quieter Saturday before a jam-packed Sunday across Scottish football. Falkirk against Livingston is your only 3 o'clock Saturday offering, but a big card in the Championship and beyond. But don't be fooled, this is not a quiet time overall. We've got European failures, Martin O'Neill's future, Green Brigade bans, Rangers banners, and Hearts are still top of the league. What more could you want? In the company of Gordon Dalziel, Cammy Bell and Hugh Keevins.
For me, there is a question to be answered about Scottish football this weekend. With the honourable exception of Heart of Midlothian Football Club, the champions-elect, has our game regressed? Celtic and Rangers, the 2 flagship clubs in this country, were woeful in Europe in midweek. The coefficient is a disaster for Scotland, and there will be consequences further down the line. So, here we are. Have we gone backwards? And how do Celtic and Rangers address the problem when the people who support these clubs have absolutely no trust in the people who run those clubs? Anyway, today we look for Falkirk, Livy, Hibs, St Mirren to restore our faith in our game. And Falkirk could go third in the table. The promoted club could go third in the table if they beat Livy. Marvin Bartley says Livy have got Falkirk's number, but Marvin Bartley thinks Yang's a player.
A great introduction, Hugh. Yeah, it is a sort of a small card today. Falkirk, Livingston, all eyes will be firmly focused on tomorrow. A lot of good games, but as you quite rightly say, Gordon, there's exciting games all the way down Championship, all the way down to League 2. Important games there. Partick Thistle getting a late equaliser last night. I was absolutely delighted for Mark. Against Airdrie, I felt sorry for them. That looked like a good home win. But all the talking points will probably be off the field today.
Yeah, massive talking points from midweek. A hugely disappointing midweek European campaign for our Scottish teams. But again, you look at the game in the top flight today, I think that's a tasty one. I think it's a tight one to call. And then the Championship, it's an opportunity for St Johnstone, which will be a difficult game at Dunfermline, to try and extend their lead at the top.
It is no wonder you can't take your eyes off Scottish football, because 6 days ago we completed the lineup for the League Cup final. You may have heard it was quite an incident-packed day at Hampden. That's rumbled on all week, and in 1 week's time Gordon Dalziel. Scotland will be away in Greece with the World Cup qualification hopes hanging in the balance. A whole heap to happen in the domestic scene before then. We're 2 days on from a really disappointing night in Europe as well. You would not have it any other way in terms of drama and excitement.
No, and I do agree with Hugh's opening statement. I'm a bit concerned after Thursday night, Gordon. No, Aberdeen get a 0-0, but everybody's thinking that's a good result. But Aberdeen, Scottish teams of that stature should be winning games like that. I totally agree. I watched Celtic and Rangers. Disappointment, well off it, well beaten. We have got a problem coefficient, and there's no doubt about that. As you say, after this weekend, we're really going to be excited with Scotland's chances, especially this double header coming up. Beat Greece, and then Hampden will be rocking against Enfield.
And Hugh, there's a managerial vacancy in Celtic. You almost forget that at times because everything else is, the games are coming thick and fast, the talking points are there, but Celtic presumably are looking for a manager. When will they get one?
Well, the decision makers at Celtic Park, no, let me rephrase that. The decision maker, Dermot Desmond, has a real job on his hands now, because Martin O'Neill will not be there long term. Even Martin O'Neill is trying to tell people he will not be there long term. So Dermot Desmond is the one who decides who comes in and who goes out, and when they go out and when they come in. So Dermot Desmond has got to do something. The international break will afford him time. The worry for the Celtic fans is that decision making is not a strong point at Celtic.
Anyway, we have got so much to get through between now and 6 o'clock. Sometimes the days when we've got fewer games means the show becomes even busier with all the other talking points. So strap yourselves in for the next 4 hours or so. Stay in touch all afternoon with us on Twitter at Clyde SSB. And of course, I will give you the nod when it is time to pick up that phone when the 3 o'clock games are done and dusted. So much to look back on, so much to look forward to. So let's go around the grounds. We've got 3 featured matches for you today, starting with the one and only 3 o'clock Scottish Premiership clash. It's at the Falkirk Stadium, and Livingston are the visitors. David Friel.
Yeah, they are, Gordon. As you say, it's a one and only 3pm kick-off, but it's the battle of the two promoted teams. It's a fascinating one, as Falkirk and Livingston renew their rivalry from last season. They had some really good games last season. They've had a good game this season too, so let's hope it lives up to expectations. And Davy Martindale is back in the dugout today after his appearance on the Debate Night TV show midweek. He was happy to hear his views, he always is, but it's back to the day job after that debate, and there can be no argument that his team badly needs 3 points against an informed Falkirk. Livy sit bottom of the Premiership after the first round of fixtures, but if they're going to get a win, history tells you it should come against Falkirk. Big Marv says Livingston have got their number. It's hard to argue with that. They took 10 points off Falkirk in last season's championship. They also beat them 3-1 at the start of this season. They clearly have the psychological advantage over Falkirk. John McGlynn even said that earlier on this week. They should be full of confidence, Livingston, despite the lack of wins, and it has been a long time since they won a game. That win over Falkirk, August the 9th, was the last time they took 3 points, and David Martindale knows that kind of form has to end if they're going to stay in the division. That said, Falkirk on the flip side have got a major point to prove against Livingston. They're known for good football, but speaking to John McGlynn this week, he doesn't care about that. He just wants to end this hoodoo. He just wants to beat Livingston by any means. And Falkirk in great form. They beat Kilmarnock 3-1 last weekend. They've won 3 out the last 4 in the league, and as Hugh said, if they win today, they will be third at full time. A remarkable rise for Falkirk. It's been a good week for them. Scott Bain got a Scotland call-up after 6 or 7 years out of the picture. And you never know, another strong performance today could see him in contention to start against Greece and Denmark next week. There was, however, an injury blow for Falkirk after that Kelly game. Ross McKeever has been really good. He's ruled out with an ankle injury. Brian Graham, the old-timer, he comes in from the start. Dylan Tate also replaces Henry Cartwright in midfield. So Scott Bain in goals, Keelan Adams, Connor Allen, Liam Henderson and Philip Lisa. Dylan Tate and Brad Spencer anchoring the midfield, with Kyrell Wilson, Calvin Miller and Ethan Williams in behind Brian Graham. Subs for Falkirk is Hogarth, Aguiman, Cartwright, Oliver, Ross, Edwards, Arfield and Hart. As for Livingston, just one change from the 2-2 draw against Hibs last weekend. Teti Enge is in for the injured Scott Pittman. So it's going to be Jerome Prior in goals, Joshua Brennett, Daniel Finlayson, Danny Wilson and Christian Montano at the back. Mamadou Sissoko, Mo Silla anchor the midfield, with Lewis Smith, Teti Enge and Stevie May in behind Jeremy Bokila. Subs for Livingston is Hamilton, Muirhead, Carey, Winter, Robinson, Shinnie, Tate, Lawal and Colbert. The referee is Grant Irvin, and the VAR is a man who will be hoping for a quiet day after last weekend, Nick Walsh.
Yeah, he's been away in European action during the week as well, so he's had a busy few days whilst everyone else has been talking about him. Here's one we'll maybe get Cammy Bell to wade in on. David Friel, are you about to watch the man who will start for Scotland in these do or die World Cup qualification matches in 1 week's time?
I think I might be, to be perfectly honest with you, because I look at the options. Liam Kelly hasn't played. Craig Gordon's got all the experience in the world. Gordon, he's been an unbelievable goalkeeper for Scotland, but he's had injury problems. I don't think he's played since early May. So do you go for the experience and just hope that Craig Gordon is fit enough, or do you throw in the informed keeper, the guy that's played every minute of every game almost this season? I think Scott Bain's got every chance.
It is a heck of a decision, Cammy Bell. Everybody's always got opinions, and the great thing about us, we're so sure of our own opinion. Let's not pretend this is easy, because that's your choice. I don't want to discount Liam Kelly entirely, but it feels like the choice is this: Scott Bain, who's playing regularly for Falkirk and playing well, but has not had a Scotland cap in 6 years, and the last time he did, it didn't go very well, and hasn't played a lot of football in the last couple of seasons. Or a 42-year-old that has not played football in 6 months, but is your established, so-called reliable, safe pair of hands. Which one do you pick?
Listen, it's far from an ideal scenario for Scotland, and when you were in this situation, if Angus Gunn got injured, we're really short in the goalkeeping front for Scotland going forward. For me, it's a really tough decision for Steve Clarke. I think he mentioned that he would look at the guys in training and how they're reacting to training. I know Craig Gordon's been fit for a while, but obviously not had that game time. Scott Bain's had a good season so far, but again, you reflect that he's not had a lot of game time in the past 2 or 3 seasons. So for me, I think the magnitude of the games, I think you go with Craig Gordon. I think you go with the experience. I know he's not had a lot of game time, I understand that, but I think a guy that of Craig Gordon's stature and the way that he goes about his business, I know he'll train very, very hard and will be ready. So I would go with Craig Gordon.
No, I'd go with Bain, purely and simply on the basis that he plays regularly. He's good enough to play for John McGlynn week in, week out. He's good enough perhaps today to help take Falkirk to 3rd place in the Premiership table, and I have every respect for Craig Gordon. Ordinarily he would be the first choice by the length of Sucky Hall Street, but circumstances for me dictate that he's not had enough football to be considered.
I'm having a bad day. I'm going to agree with him twice in a row. I know what Cammy's saying. I think Craig Gordon, fit as the best goalkeeper, and I think we'll all agree that. I don't think there'll be an argument there. I think it's all about here and now, the sharpness, playing the Premier League. He's getting the minutes, and he's in his gloves. So for me, and the importance of the game, I think you've got to go with Bain.
That was very good knowingness from you there. Do you ever remember the time Gordon described Liam Kelly as getting minutes under his gloves? And it appeared on the Football Clichés podcast, for those of you who are familiar with it. A few days later, I was driving along, I heard Gordon Dalziel's voice on another podcast, and they were playing it as if to say, minutes under your gloves, what do we think? Is that an appropriate place for a goalie to store their minutes? And they came round to kind of side.
Do you know what? We can all have our opinion. Stevie
it's
Clarke,
some decision, that, isn't it?
I know,
if I'm being honest.
Whatever you think, Steve Clarke does the opposite. Always. Liam Kelly will end up in goal.
I think it's such a difficult decision for Steve Clarke, because if one of the goalkeepers goes in and makes a mistake, then he's made the wrong decision. It's really, really tough. I get your point with Scott Bain, I absolutely get it. I'm just going with the magnitude of these games, the pressure that comes with these games. I don't think Scott Bain's, yes, he's been at Celtic, he's played in some big games, but that was a long time ago. I just don't think he's played under this magnitude and pressure like recently.
Maybe one we can revisit. It was just a nice topic to tag on to the build up to Falkirk Livy today, which we are looking forward to. We've got 2 featured championship matches as well. Dunfermline against St Johnstone. Of course, St Johnstone, the league leaders. Neil Lennon's Dunfermline, as I think you're obliged to call them, Fraser Wishart.
Yes, of course, you're always obliged to call him Neil Lennon's Dunfermline. And when you arrive here, and I'm not here very often these days because in the Championship, you actually get a reminder of what a big club they are, what the potential could be here. There'll be 5,000 plus fans here, and they are on a regular basis. And this is the makings, as you were saying earlier, of a really good game because St Johnstone are top of the table. They had a chance to increase their lead at the top to 5 points after Thistle's draw last night. But this will be a difficult one for Saints. Dunfermline have hit a bit of form recently with 3 wins and a draw in the last 5 games, and there'll be a good size home support here to cheer their team on. But St Johnstone's not far for their fans to travel, and apparently they've sold in excess of 1,300 tickets as well. So you're looking at a Premier League size crowd here. Many of the Premier League clubs would be happy to get the size of crowd they'll be here today. And we all know it's never dull with Neil Lennon around. He's very passionate on the touchline, and the teams he manages play in the front foot, taking the game to opponents. He tries to excite the fans. Simon Valakari sets his teams up in a similar way, and they won't sit back and soak up the pressure today. They'll look to dominate the ball, dominate possession, and play at high tempo and take the game to Dunfermline. So an exciting game ahead. I saw St Johnstone first game of the season. They beat Partick Thistle 5-1, and from that point looked real favourites to go up. But there are a lot of good teams in the Championship, and the Percy have done pretty well to keep up a decent run and keep their lead at the top, although Thistle and others are within touching distance. Dunfermline are 12 points behind Saints in the table, and if they harbour any thoughts of automatic promotion, you have to think they must win today, because even after 14 games in the season, a 15-point advantage to the team at the top I think would be too much for them to make up. Although you do feel the size of club that Dunfermline are, American owners, they back Neil Lennon and his team. They can add it in January if necessary, and perhaps Dunfermline might just be the closest team to St Johnstone at the end of the season. So really looking forward to this one. Expect plenty of action and a few goals hopefully here at East End Park. Looking at the team selections, there's 3 changes for Dunfermline. Mehmet, Hamilton and McLeod drop to the bench. In come Terrell, Almadi and Caceres. So Billy Terrell's in goals in a 3-4-3 formation. Jeremiah Chiloka Mullen, Nuruddin Abdullahi and John Todd at the back. Alphonse Almadi, Matthew Todd, Charlie Gilman, Robbie Fraser across the middle, with Jeffrey Caceres, Barney Stewart and Andy Todd as the front 3. Dennis Mehmet, Mason Munn, Chris Hamilton, Ewan O2, Kane Ritchie Hosler, Sam Fisher, Rory McLeod, Keith Bray and Tashan Oakley Booth are the substitutes. For St Johnstone, they've made one change with the team that beat Airdrie last week. It's the Championship top scorer, actually, Josh McPake. Unfortunately for them, he's out ill, but in comes recent sign from Dundee United, Kai Fotheringham. They go 4-3-3 formation. Toby Stewart in goals, Liam Smith, Czech Diabate, Jack Baird and Morgan Boys at the back. Jonathan Svedberg, Jason Holt and Rhys McAleer in the middle, with Kai Fotheringham, Adama Sibide and Jamie Gullen as the 3 forwards. Kyle Thompson, Regan Tumulty, Sam Stanton, Matthew Fold, Uche Ekpiazu, Sven Sprangler, Adam Forrester, Yannick Vanner and Fran Franchak are the substitutes, and the referee today on his own, because there's no VAR, it's Ross Hardy.
Fraser Wishart loves that. Means he's going to get down the road a bit earlier than normal. But what a professional this guy is. Up at my door this morning, picking up the equipment nice and early. Just get there, get in the zone, get the research done. Not like some of the rest of them, honestly. Tom Grant is at Capello for Morton against Arbroath.
Thanks, Gordon. Yeah, and I think it'd be remiss of me not to mention Morton boss Dougie Imrie's heartbreaking interview with the BBC last night, talking about the sad loss of his baby daughter Remy. And I mention it because he spoke about being struck by the warmth shown by Scottish football fans right across the country, and I'm sure following that interview being released last night, he will get that again here at Capello this afternoon as the Morton side take on free scoring Arbroath. I'll start with the visitors. I mentioned free scoring because the Smokies have enjoyed some big results in recent weeks over the 2 sides who recently dropped down from the top division. An impressive 3-0 victory over Tony Dockerty's Ross County last week. That followed a 3-1 win over league leader St Johnstone, and that sees co-managers Colin Hamilton and David Gall's side sit in 3rd place, having just been promoted from League 1 last season. However, sandwiched between those results and last time out on the road was a 1-0 loss to Airdrie, who of course drew with Mark Wilson's Partick Thistle last night. Players of note, of course, Harry Cochrane, who scored last week. I know you guys were speaking about him being one of those players who there was a lot of talk about in his younger days at Hearts. For Morton, they sit 7th, and their season has really been a story of draws. An unbelievable 9 of their 13 games in the Championship. They have shared the spoils with their opponents, including a 1-1 draw with Raith Rovers last time out. So there's no sign of Morton top goal scorer Eamon Brophy. I did see him here, so perhaps there's some sort of knock there, but Tommy Adeloy starts. He scored his second goal of the season in that draw in Kirkcaldy. So I'll read you the teams. Greenock Morton have made 3 changes. Dougie Imrie has made 3 changes. In goals, James Storer, Zach Delaney, Chris Moore, Owen Moffat comes in. As I say, Adeloy plays. Cammy McPherson retains his place. Kerr Robertson comes in. Aaron Comrie, Jackson Longbridge, Aaron Lyle comes in, and Ian Wilson. For the Smokies, it's Aidan McAdams in goal, Jack Wilkie, Thomas O'Brien the captain, Aaron Muirhead, Ryan Flynn, Taylor Stephen, Gavin Riley, replaces Nikolai Todorov. Scott Stewart, Jacob McIntyre, Finlay Harrison, and again Harry Cochrane. Match referee is Peter Stewart.
Looking forward to it. Only 3 games for our featured matches this afternoon, but you know the drill on a Saturday. We usually pause at this point. We look back on some of the week's biggest talking points, and there are loads. We'll do it next.
Ever wondered what power is? Power is transforming the sun into your own energy source. Power is getting energy companies to pay you. Power is enjoying your morning coffee, knowing you created the energy to make it. Well, you and the colossal ball of fire in the sky. Because with solar panels from Hive, the sun works for you. Hive, know your power. May not cover all electricity usage, roof and weather dependent. Paid for surplus requires eligible SCG tariff.
You can't do much in under 5 minutes. Boil an egg? Sure. Cook a roast dinner? No chance. But comparing car insurance prices with mustard.co.uk? Easy. See what you could save in just a few minutes. Click mustard.co.uk. Authorised and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority. See website for details.
Max Millions, Max Millions.
Welcome to Max Millions, the casino with winnings that are in a completely different universe.
Max Millions.
Make a splash and win up to 500 free spins playing Storm to Riches, plus dazzling daily jackpots on fluffy favourites and Big Bass Splash. Take your seat at maxmillions.com. New players only, £10 minimum deposit, terms apply, 18 plus, begambleaware.org. Please play responsibly.
A Rayo original podcast.
Hiya, it's Gemma Atkinson. And you know what they say? You should never work with animals, kids, or your Spanish partner of almost 8 years.
8 happy years.
Oh, yeah. Join me and Gorka on our brand new podcast, Lost in Translation, where we lift the lid on family life and our perfectly imperfect relationship.
Listen to Lost in Translation now.
On the Rayo app, Apple, Amazon, Music, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
This season, I want to see us have a real shot. Want to see us at full strength. Want a bench that gives us options. Want to get some momentum. Want to do it on a cold, wet night in November. Want to be top at Christmas. Want to beat them on Boxing Day. Want to go ahead in January. Want to put the league table on the group. Want to hear them say, can they do it this year? Want to listen to their doubters. Want to prove them all wrong. Look them in the eye and say, want to bet? Bet Fred. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
Private healthcare sounds pricey.
At Benenden Health, it's less than £16 per person per month.
Just for GP calls?
For a 24/7 GP helpline, physio, diagnostics and more. Now, tell me.
All about my medical history?
No medical questionnaires or hidden charges. We like to call it
healthcare done different.
Spot on. Benenden Health. Healthcare done different. Fee review periodically. 6-month wait for some services. T&Cs apply. Selected surgical procedures after 6 months. 24 in Northern Ireland. UK only. Visit benenden.co.uk.
Save £788 on the Google Pixel 10 Pro on EE. Talk with Gemini about anything you see.
Anything?
Just point your camera and ask.
Can it tell me what to wear with my new trainers?
Like your very own stylist.
And recipe ideas?
Just show it your fridge. Plus, you get stay-connected data because powerful AI deserves the UK's best network. Offer ends 4th of December.
Savings across contract and device. Terms and credit check apply. Credit by EE Limited. Verify best network at ee.co.uk/claims.
The fastest goals, the expert opinions. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Hugh Keevins, Cammy Bell, Gordon Dalziel and the top team round the grounds are building up to the 3 o'clock kickoffs, of which there are not many. 4 games in the Premiership tomorrow, 1 later, 1 this afternoon, but loads to talk about. Absolutely loads to talk about. It's only day 2 of the fallout from a miserable night in Europe. Celtic went first, Hugh, so let's start with them. Because although I understand the temptation to kind of lump it all together and say bad night for Scottish football, which it was, it feels like they're bad for sort of different reasons and in different ways. So what did you make of Thursday night for Celtic?
Appalling and indicative of the fact that the Celtic squad is declining at an alarming rate. A permanent manager will need to be installed to assess the squad prior to the January transfer window. And then the Celtic fans will need to cross their fingers and hope that somebody can judge a player and bring them in because the squad is desperately short on quality. They have sold quality and they have bought mediocrity. They have been very, very unfortunate with the loss of Cameron Carter-Vickers, Ali Johnson, Jota. They will all come back in the new year at various stages. However, the league title is hanging in the balance. Hearts are 9 points ahead of Celtic and have a far better squad than Celtic possess at the moment. So this is not the Champions League. This is not the Celtic of last season taking Bayern Munich to the wire in the Champions League. This is the Europa League, and Celtic had not a clue how to handle Midtjylland. Midtjylland are a modern day forward thinking club. Celtic are struggling in terms of what happens on and off the park because they simply don't have any idea about the way to keep up with modern day football in the manner of Hearts with the Jamestown Analytics and Tony Bloom's data-based operation. Celtic are out of date.
I mean, David, feel you obviously are well across the Celtic beat. It feels like there was just so much goes into and comes out of a night like that, because you can boil it down to the 90 minutes and Midtjylland are pretty good and Celtic weren't and all the rest of it. But it's hard to not look at bigger picture, as Hugh says. Is that squad suitable? Has it been recruited for well enough? What does it mean for Martin O'Neill? Has the early week optimism and people phoning us to say that he should be there till the end of the season, has that changed? What does it say for the players that are already there? It just feels like there's a lot of questions to be answered on the back of that game the other night.
Yeah, it does. I mean, to start with Martin O'Neill, Gordon, I've always felt it was a short-term fix. It was a bit of nostalgia for Celtic. He was probably the right man at the time just to be a figurehead and to, I suppose, lift the place. He got that result against Falkirk, and then he beats Rangers last week. And yeah, of course there's going to be a feel-good factor after that, and you will get fans caught up in the emotion of it, saying, oh, maybe he is the man. But I think as a matter of urgency, Celtic need to get a manager in. We're now approaching 2 weeks since Brendan Rodgers left, and I think what Thursday night did was basically sum up the work that needs done on the team and on the squad. I mean, everybody talks about the Bayern Munich game, but I think a better reference point is the RB Leipzig game, which was almost a year ago to the day when Celtic went, they beat Leipzig 3-1. They were outstanding, they looked powerful, they looked pacey, and then you just contrast that with what you saw on Thursday night. For me, Midtjylland, a very good team. Look, they've got 12 out of 12 in the Europa League. I think they'll go far in the competition, but they just overpowered Celtic. They swatted them aside. Yes, Celtic were probably tired after Sunday, but you'd 4 or 5 days to recover, and I thought it was quite stark, the difference in the two teams. As Hugh said, Midtjylland are a very modern side, a modern club who recruit very well and have a long-term plan. I think Celtic in the short term need to get a manager in with a long-term plan and then recruit accordingly, because right now they've got so much work to do, and everybody keeps talking about January window, but before that even starts, Celtic have got some season-defining games. As Hugh said, they've got a lot of work to do in this league. They've got a cup final coming up. They'll play Rangers on January 3rd as well. They've got Easter Road to go to. So I think Celtic, as a matter of urgency, have to have a manager in during this international break. And I'm sure there are loads of Celtic fans out there who agree with you and always knew it was short term, and who always felt quite sort of calm about it. But let's be honest, look at the calls we've taken in the last few weeks, or last 2 weeks. Look at what you read on social media, that there was clearly a feeling out there for some, once Martin O'Neill beat Falkirk and beat Rangers, that look what happens when you're free of Brendan Rodgers. Look at the difference Martin O'Neill's. Look at us now, we play forward, we play fast. Now that we're free of Brendan Rodgers and his dull tactics, the world's a better place. Was it a bit of a kind of reality check on that front, and maybe a bit of a contradiction to that theory? Yeah, 100%. And as I said, that was the most glaring thing for me, was just how far ahead Midtjylland looked. Celtic did okay for the first half hour without really threatening, but they were just up against a team that just looked more powerful, more pacey. Everything Celtic had looked at their very, very best last season. There's no doubt this squad has regressed. As I said, there's no doubt there's huge work to be done on it. And look, Martin O'Neill has got a tune out of guys like Dalziel, Maeda, Arnie Engels, guys like that. Austin Trusty have looked much, much better at certain points. But Celtic need to get serious and look at the bigger picture, and they need to look where they're going as a club. They've now had 2 weeks to really assess all the candidates, probably draw up a long list, and now it comes down to a short list and try to get one over the line. I just don't think Celtic can go any further. If Celtic come out the international break with the kind of status quo of Martin O'Neill and Sean Maloney, I'd be very, very surprised.
Yeah, I agree with David, and I agree with the boys. I think that Celtic will be looking at this international break to try and get someone in the dugout. I think Martin O'Neill's been brilliant for them. Look, at the end of the day, I agree with David and Hugh again. Thursday night, it was just back to the same old situation. They looked like they were going to lose goals. They were lucky they get out there 3-1, let's be honest. Bit better in the second half. Big blow to the young lad Osman, obviously, with the hamstring injury as well. That is a massive blow to him. He's waited so long to get his opportunity there. Martin O'Neill, for me, like everybody else, I love Martin O'Neill. I think he's brilliant, everything about him. I think he can hold the fort. I'm not just going to judge it on Thursday night's performance. You've got to look at the players. They've got to take a bit of responsibility as well. But going forward, looking at Celtic, trying to catch Hearts, who are in brilliant form, terrific place there just now, I think that they need a bit of freshness in there. New manager coming in there, and they need to get to January still in this league race, because they need to strengthen in the transfer window.
That's the point, Gordon. They've been fortunate only to be 9 points behind Hearts. They've had games in the league this season that they've been very fortunate to win and had decisions go their way. They are.
See, in fairness though, on that, I mean, by the same token, they really could and should have beat Hibs. So I don't know if we need to get bogged down in the sort of the false number of points, because if you're going to say, oh, they were lucky to beat Kilmarnock, I think they were probably unlucky to not beat Hibs. I don't think we can have it only one way.
But the decline in standards, never mind Europe. Europe's gone. I mean, Scotland's a nothing country in Europe now. But the decline in standards at domestic level is now a problem for Celtic, because they are 9 points behind Hearts. I wouldn't put money on Celtic to beat Kilmarnock tomorrow, even at home. Even a Kilmarnock side who've lost 4 games on the bounce, because you couldn't trust Celtic.
I do think you should leave your own individual match predictions out of this, because you were on quite a good roll there. So let's not undo the good work, Cammy.
Well, I'll hang around till 5 o'clock tomorrow night.
The new manager, whoever he may be, whenever he may be appointed, though, it probably does show the scale of what is going on at the moment, because what's the old cliche? Pep couldn't have managed them the other night. Whatever that looks like. Insert good manager here. That still would be currently, that's a hard group to get big results out of in Europe, by the looks of it.
Yeah, listen, it absolutely is. We all know that Celtic are short on the player front. Martin O'Neill's came in, he's had that initial hit where he got the result against Falkirk, as we spoke about, and then got that big result over Rangers at the weekend. But listen, he'll know himself that these players probably aren't good enough as a group to go and compete in Europe, and whoever the manager is that comes in, he's got a huge job on his hands. There's a few transfer windows that's going to be needed to fix this for Celtic, but I think this is an opportunity, the international break, to really reflect and see what direction they want to go in. They need to get this decision right, because it's a massive decision for Celtic going forward, because I think there is a huge turnaround in players that's needed at the club at this moment in time.
You make a great point there. I don't care. The next manager will come in and probably get the same sort of reaction Martin O'Neill got.
Yep.
That initial couple of games and big games. The Rangers semi-final came at a real good time. The first game against Falkirk, couldn't have picked a better opposition. Not in giving Falkirk any disrespect, but at home against Falkirk you expect to go and win that. I think it is, you're looking at the squad, whoever comes in there will need to rebuild that squad.
Do you think Celtic have a clue who they want as manager?
They must have, Hugh, surely. Surely there must be. The problem, the only good thing in the move they made for me was Martin O'Neill was a good appointment to get in there, right, and keep the fans. I know they're having a goal, but it settled it down a wee bit. They got the 2 victories Thursday night. Obviously, the problems come back again. But they must be working very hard behind the scenes.
The directors don't need to work very hard. There's only one man who decides who comes in and when.
Yeah, but the problem is, look at everybody.
Hold on. We need to be accurate though, because Dermot Desmond did not go into his personal contacts and phone Ange Postecoglou, right? So I know that there clearly are areas. Look at that statement a couple of weeks ago where Celtic fans feel Dermot Desmond has more power than he should. But let's not be inaccurate about it. Ange Postecoglou wasn't a Dermot Desmond appointment, was he?
I'm talking about who the next one will be.
But what I'm saying is, but what's your evidence for that then? If the guy two appointments ago,
on the basis that Brendan Rodgers is put out, that statement then follows.
No, listen, I get that,
and Dermot Desmond then phones Martin O'Neill without consultation with anyone.
So again, though, Ange Postecoglou.
What about them?
So I'm saying Celtic can appoint managers that are not the sole thought of Dermot Desmond.
Well, we'll
clearly.
See how you're giving Celtic a bit of stick there about surely they need to get a manager. Gone are the days that Celtic and Rangers pick up the phone and say to somebody, do you want to manage this massive club? Because people refuse a job now. You've seen it with Rangers. We've looked at Craig Bellamy.
Depends what market you're in, I suppose.
Right, exactly, Gordon. So it's not just an instant success for them to go and get somebody. They've got to work at it.
Yeah, Fraser Wisher, I wonder if the games coming thick and fast can be a good thing. It can get you on a roll, but because we are also I don't know if impatient's the right word, or we're also knee-jerk, it does make a calm analysis of the situation a bit more difficult, because like David said, it's sort of natural. Beat Falkirk and beat Rangers a couple of days later, you start wondering if Martin O'Neill is the guy, and then a couple of days later you lose poorly to Mitchell, and maybe you stop wondering if he's the guy, and maybe none of that's the point. Maybe you need to take a step back and try and put 3 results out of your mind.
Well, we were talking last weekend, weren't we, about on Saturday, that if Celtic won, it would give the Celtic board a bit more time to actually bring in a manager. But of course now they've lost on Thursday as well. Now I think it's the exact opposite. It's actually brought the whole thing to the fore again, and there is a bit of urgency, and we saw with Rangers with Kevin Muscat, the clubs are not prepared to wait, maybe because the supporters are not prepared to wait. And I do think if we're sitting in a fortnight's time, the first game after the international break, Martin O'Neill's still in charge, I think Celtic fans will perhaps be a wee bit unhappy. They'll expect somebody to come in, and we always discuss, do clubs know who they want to replace? Of course they do. They'll have 4 or 5 people. That doesn't mean that it's automatic, because as Gordon Dale was saying, you just phone up the first person you're listening to, say, would you like to come and manage Celtic? Oh, brilliant, they're a big club, fantastic. There's a lot of hoops to go through, whether that club or not, and whoever takes the job will be looking at the budget in January, they'll be looking at the squad, they'll be looking at the contracts, they'll be looking at lots of aspects, and they'll be thinking, do I want to take this job? So it's not automatic now you can just phone in and they'll take a job at Rangers or Celtic. But I do think there's now a wee bit more urgency in the matter. We're 2 weeks from Brendan Rodgers leaving. I think if there's another 2 weeks and Celtic haven't got somebody in place, I think the Celtic fans will be even unhappier than they are at the moment.
The Glasgow atmosphere usually dictates that one of the clubs has to be in a good place, and therefore the other club is in a bad place. There was a very rare spell when Ange Postecoglou had Celtic flying and Gio was taking Rangers to a final, that they were both in a good place. But now, Hugh, they're both raging about European results from Thursday night, and like I said, it's almost for different reasons, but the Rangers fans are also pretty disappointed in what they're seeing at the moment.
And here's why. Rangers are taken over by 49ers Enterprises, and the stars and stripes appear at Ibrox, the baseball caps appear, make Rangers great again. A multi-million-pound investment in the club then takes place, and look what happened. They got worse instead of better. They are unquestionably worse than they were before 49ers Enterprises came in, and they now have a major job on their hands, and it's further troubled by this open attack on Kevin Thelwell and Patrick Stewart. It is becoming poisonous, it is becoming dangerous, but there is no doubt the Rangers fans have no faith in either of those men. They have no faith in the team on the park, and Danny Rule has to be careful, because Rangers have played 4 Europa League games and won none of them. He's responsible for 2 of those defeats. He's also lost his first Old Firm meeting against a not terribly good Celtic side, so he has to be careful as well. Rangers at the moment are in a mess.
I've got to say, the criticism towards Thelwell and Stewart, I totally agree with the Rangers fans. The recruitment has been shocking, absolutely shocking. I watched them the other night there. I'm looking at money that's been spent. Look at that forward line, over £10 million for 2 strikers. 2 of them right now you wouldn't have in your team. Daniela's probably a better striker than they 2 that you've just brought in. They fill me with no confidence whatsoever. I look at their defence, they're all over the place. I don't know what this manager has seen in Jiga. I really can't understand that. So the recruitment for me from the summer, and they brought in the nucleus of 13 players, has been woeful.
Yeah, it felt, Cammy, based on the Rangers fans calling us last night, almost just like an inevitability about Thursday. I mean, obviously Roma are good. Obviously it's possible that Roma could come and win, but just verging on kind of a non-event of it. The drop-off from what Rangers Thursdays used to look like. I think Danny Rule's still okay in the eyes of the Rangers fans. He's not really getting the stick, but everything else.
Yeah, listen, I think that's where Rangers are at the moment. Fans are a little bit, I don't know, it just feels like you go into these European games expecting defeat now, which shouldn't be the Rangers way, absolutely shouldn't be, but that's where they're at the moment. Again, you look at Thursday night, they'll lose a set piece goal, which has been an absolute Achilles heel for Rangers. They lost one on Sunday, very similar area that the ball goes into the front post. I know this one on Thursday night gets flicked on, it's a second phase at score, but again, they've got 5 clean sheets in 23 games this season. That's not good enough for Rangers. That's where Rangers really need to improve. It's been so poor. They're not giving themselves a chance to go and win games because defensively, for me, they're so fragile that they're not good enough.
But Cammy, they've got strikers that can't score goals.
I get that, and no, but so then that's why it's even more important at set pieces that you are switched on and you do not gift the opposition goals. We knew that before the game that Roma are strong from set pieces, and again you give them a goal, so it's really frustrating. I think the manager will be frustrated, but I'm totally with you, Daz, that the recruitment has been appalling. It's been so poor from the summer. The players that have came in haven't lived up to expectations and certainly haven't delivered on the pitch.
And Danny Rule's not getting it in the neck, and rightly so. David Freely's only just in the door, but Kevin Thelwell is, Patrick Stewart is, and maybe even Andrew Kavanagh, ever so slightly, and a bit slower, the criticism towards him. But the Rangers fans not impressed so far.
No, not at all. And it was interesting, the TV camera kept panning towards Andrew Kavanagh on Thursday night, Gordon. Just a penny for his thoughts, because he stood by Patrick Stewart and Kevin Thelwell especially, who clearly drives the recruitment. He's convinced that they will get it right and that they've signed some good players, but the guys who they have brought in just aren't showing it. There's so much focus and use of Chermiti, and I'm sorry, it's just going to continue to be the case. He's £8 million worth of striker and he doesn't look it at all. He's big, he's strong, but he doesn't know how to use it, and his first touch is really poor, and he just looks completely lacking in confidence. I can't kind of get my head around why you would spend that amount of money on a player with his track record, but there's more as well, and there's just so many players who have been brought to the club by Kevin Thelwell toiling. But I would also add on top of that, and I kind of talked about him last weekend too, Nico Raskin has to do more, Mohamed Diamandi has to do more, the guys that have been there for a long time, John Suter, they guys have to do more as well, because it can't just be put on the new signings. As for Danny Rule, look, I think there's been slight positive signs and brightness in Rangers play at times, but they're still shipping goals far too easily. And if I was him, I would just completely forget that Europa League, it's gone, Rangers aren't going to qualify, I would just focus and try to get some domestic form.
With that then, that all the eggs going in one basket makes it difficult, doesn't it? Because if you can't keep chipping away, look, Hearts are far ahead, let's not be in any doubt. What is it, 14 points ahead of Rangers at the moment, David? So unless you can make real dents in that soon, the League Cup is now officially gone. Obviously, you may have heard at Hampden last Sunday. If you're saying Europe is gone as well, it's a long old season unless Rangers start making headway in the league soon.
It is a long old season, but that's the predicament Rangers have put themselves into. But I just think Europe now is a side issue for Rangers. I think it's just one you can just write off for the entire season. If I was Danny Role, I would be putting everything into just chipping away at that lead, try to get closer to Celtic first, and then try to get close to Hearts as possible, because if there's more poor results, and look, he's had a couple of good league results, but if he starts dropping points in the league, the gaze will turn to him as well as Kevin Thelwell and Patrick Stewart.
Yeah, I agree. I said it the other night there, that obviously you look at the Europa League, that's well and truly gone, but there's still money to be made, and Rangers will probably need money, especially the sort of squad that they've got, and they're looking at January because they'll need to reinvest once again. It is a difficult one for them, but I totally agree with David. I think the bread and butter is so important. You can't have Rangers sitting down there third and fourth place in the Scottish Premiership. They've got to start chipping away, and they've got to put all their eggs in the one basket and look at the league campaign for me.
In my lifetime, I have never ever known anything like this, because Celtic and Rangers are awful. The people who support them believe that the people who run their clubs are unfit for purpose, and at the same time, as if that were not bad enough, one of them is 14 points behind Hearts, the other one is 9 points behind Hearts. They're struggling domestically, and Europe is a write-off. I've never, ever known a time when you had this simultaneous horror show on the go.
I suppose technically Europe's not yet a write-off for Celtic, David Field. They've got 4 points. It's not beyond the realms of possibility that they progress from here.
It's not, but they also do have some tough games coming up as well. Gordon, Roma, Bologna, Feyenoord, and then Utrecht are struggling as well. It's not gone. You would think that you would need at least 10 to get through, maybe 11. So no, it's not officially going. I think Celtic will still focus on trying to get through, but I wouldn't be putting money on them right now, to be perfectly honest, if the way they're playing.
There's a lot of unhappiness around Fraser Wishart. That's why Hugh's so excited. He thrives in these. He was the Grim Reaper last week for good reason, but he might be right on this occasion. Both corners of Glasgow not too impressed with what they've witnessed over the last few days.
Absolutely, and wider than that for Scottish football as well. Looking ahead, 27-28 season, we may be down to 4 teams. Maybe second place might be Conference League. The coefficient drops. And you can't do anything about that once this season's finished, so you can't just give up in Europe, even just a coefficient points to try and get us up a wee bit. We're going back to where we were in the days when Rangers were not in the Premier League, in the top division. So it's really worrying times, because that all impacts on the Scottish game, also impacts on Rangers Celtic and our teams playing in Europe. So it's fascinating. It's been an unbelievable season for stories, and the Celtic story is probably stranger because they've been so good for so many years, and there's so many top players. Their demise has been there. The Rangers one seems to have been there since day one, since Rangers drew at Motherwell. Unhappy supporters, and it's almost become a wee bit of apathy. 42,000 there the other night. If Rangers were in contention, Rangers Roma would be 50,000, be a sellout. You couldn't get a ticket. So all these things have a big effect on our clubs, and both the Old Firm clubs and the boards of directors have to sort this and quickly. And it's only November. Who knows what the rest of the season will have in store. We're going to focus, or refocus I should say, on the 3 o'clock games next.
Scottish football's league leader. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Hugh Keevins, Cammy Bell, Gordon Dalziel are in the studio. The top team are all around the grounds, he says. 3 featured matches, 1 in the Premiership. Actually looking forward though to St Mirren Hibs later. We can get really stuck in to the build up for that one as the afternoon progresses. But let's go back to Falkirk Livy. David Friel, I'm in danger of contradicting myself, not for the first or last time. I said last night it still felt too early to really worry about the league table, and my example for that was Hibs, because I don't feel like they're in a great place. I feel like they need to win today, and yet they're third. So that kind of tells you that it's all a bit unsettled still. Here comes the contradiction. If you're Livy, you starting to get a little bit concerned yet, or still too early?
I think it's probably still too early, but I think David Martindale's main concern was just the amount of draws. Gordon, there's a lot in there, and I think that's why. See, if they'd managed to turn 1 or 2 of them into wins, it would make such a difference. And yet, look, the league is still so volatile, and as you say, you look at Falkirk, before this sort of run of 3 and 4, people were maybe saying, is a step up too much for them, and they could be third come tea time tonight. So yeah, I think it will take maybe the next round of fixtures before things really settle down. But I would imagine David Martindale is also looking and thinking there's been some good performances that they've just not got the rewards for. There's been others where they've been really poor and maybe get a bit lucky to get the win, to get the point. Maybe last week against Hibs was a case in point in that sense. I just think he needs to find somewhere or a kind of way up front to get more out of his players. I think Ryan McGowan's also been a massive miss at the back. I think Ryan McGowan and Danny Wilson had made a really good partnership there. Obviously so much experience there, and I think Ryan McGowan with that leg infection, it's obviously been a long-term injury. I think that's been a real blow for him, but I don't think Davey will be worrying as such, but he'll also know that games like this against what he would imagine be direct rivals are going to be so important come the end of the season.
Yeah, and for Falkirk then, have we already seen enough for them to have proven some doubters wrong about life in the top flight, or again could that still change?
I think it can still change just in terms of the squad they've got, and obviously they have had some injuries, especially at centre half. Young Connor Allen's come in and done very well. It was interesting to see John McGlynn go into the market too, the free agent market, and bring in Ryan Edwards, former Dundee United defender, been across the course so often in the Scottish League, and he's a good player, and he'll add a bit because he's still without Tom Lang, Cole Donaldson, he's got Lewis Nielsen out as well. But I think what John McGlynn has done pretty well is he gave almost the old guard from last season, the chance in the early weeks of the season, but he'd always said that he was going to do some work in the transfer market come the end of the summer, and he got Kyrell Wilson and he got Ethan Williams in, and he's almost changed that sort of three in behind the striker. Obviously Ross McKeever's been doing well, Brian Graham comes in today, but I think Wilson and Williams especially, and Calvin Miller's been excellent. I think they've given Falkirk a real bit of flair in the final third, and I'd imagine John McGlynn speaking to him this week said that if those three behind the striker click today, he feels they can win this game.
Into the Championship, Dunfermline against league leaders St Johnstone. It could have been worse for our old pal Mark Wilson last night. Fraser, they got the late equaliser, but it does give St Johnstone an extra incentive today to go and stretch their advantage, whereas Dunfermline find themselves in that kind of congested portion of the table, just occupying the final playoff spot at the moment.
Yeah, they picked up recently, Dunfermline, though. At one point, maybe a month ago, you're thinking they could be dragged into the bottom. For me, a battle at the bottom. But they've had some good results recently. I thought Thistle, a wee bit fortunate to get a point last night, but they've done really well, because the first game of the season was St Johnstone against Thistle. I saw it was 5-1 to St Johnstone, and you thought that time Thistle couldn't keep up with St Johnstone, but they have done. But St Johnstone still have got that best squad, I think. I think recruitment, we talk about it all the time in this show and at the highest level. But recruitment's important, and I think very sensible strategy was to go and get players who've been over the course. St Johnstone have big success in the last 4 or 5 years winning those 2 cups. But sometimes, although you don't want to be relegated, sometimes a relegation can be a reset and you can start to build a squad again, and they've done well. The signed likes of Jack Baird, who's experienced at St Mirren and Morton and other clubs at the Championship level. Liam Smith with Dundee United and Hearts. There's others. Reece McAleer, a very good player at this level for a number of years. So I think that was a sensible approach, was to build a team to get promotion this season, and so far so good. But got a wee opportunity today. If they win today, 5 points. I just think they've got enough in the locker. They've got goals in the locker, although Josh McPakes is missing today with 9 goals this season. They've got goals, and that makes a big difference in a very tight league when there's not much between the teams.
The other game we're focusing on today, Capello for Morton against Arbroath, and Tom Grant, I understand the reasons why. It's never going to grab the headlines, but I do wonder if Arbroath have made the best punching above your weight start of any team anywhere in any division, actually, and it is just going under the radar because of the natural sort of size of things.
Yeah, I couldn't disagree. I mean, we all remember the Dick Campbell Arbroath side of 2022, where they came so close and they ran Kilmarnock far and then fell away in the playoffs. So yeah, I couldn't disagree. They have surprised me as well. I mean, it's just that hot and cold though, isn't it? 2 big wins against St Johnstone and Ross County, but in between that was that loss to Airdrie, which stops the momentum a little bit, rather than putting pressure under Partick Thistle and league leader St Johnstone.
Well, we know where the worst song of the afternoon is. Look in Hugh Keevins' face. Listen, the people of Greenock might love that, so
catchy, Hugh.
Don't you scoff.
Who is it? What was it? Oh, that's a old Scottish singer, isn't it?
It's certainly no George Bowie and GBX.
That's a old
I thought that was the only music they played in Greenock, for Morton. But anyway, no, but seriously, Arbroath, what a start to the season. You look at them being in 3rd place, all the size of Dunfermline and Ayr and Raith and all those, Ross County, certainly with the money they've spent all behind them, Arbroath going great. What can they do down at Capello today? That is us in terms of setting the scene. The 3 o'clock kickoffs are coming next, but it's about way more than that. There's loads of big talking points from the week that's passed, loads of big talking points still to come. We've also got a first half teaser to give you, and you never quite know what these 3 will get up to in the studio once the games kick off. So stay with us, send us some tweets at Clyde SSB, and we'll get the games up and running next.
Action as it happens, and your reaction from 5 on the open line. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Big afternoon ahead. Hugh Keevins, Cammy Bell and Gordon DL are in the studio. We've got the top team keeping an eye on 3 featured matches. We've got a big game to preview later on, and 4 mammoth ties tomorrow with more talking points than you could possibly imagine. So it's at Clyde SSB to take part in the show. That's the best bit about Saturday, when you get in touch. And of course, the original opportunity to have your say straight after the games. I'll give you the nod round about 5 o'clock, maybe just before, when we open those phone lines. So strap yourselves in and let's see what the afternoon produces.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard Goal Flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy. Get set for the season with expert pharmacy support.
Right, go on then. Let's turn our attention to the general hopelessness in the studio when it comes to predicting the outcome of 3 matches. It's all I ask from you.
Yeah. Falkirk to win at home against Livy, St Johnstone to beat Dunfermline in Fife, and Morton Arbroath draw.
I'm going to go a draw, Falkirk Livingston. I'm going to go a St Johnstone win and a Morton Arbroath draw.
I'm not too far away, but here's my thinking behind this. In the last 5 games, Livy have beat Falkirk 4 and drawn 1.
Great research.
Right, so Livy are going to batter Falkirk today because Big Marv told me that. Right, so I'm going Livy, I'm going St Johnstone, I'm going Morton, Arbroath, I'm going home win Morton.
Okay, it reminds me of the pundit predictor on last night's show. Every Friday night we're giving away cash with McNair's. It was £100. We started in the week 1. We said, come on, predict the outcome of 3 games, win £100. If we can't do it, we'll roll it over to next week. We're at £1,200 for just predicting 3 games. So I'll be keeping an eye on them this weekend.
Predictions are harder than people think.
Yeah. You've certainly shown that over the years as well. But anyway, at Clyde SSB, we're getting the games underway. Of course, a bit later at some of them, but we've had a nice run already. Williams with the running cross for Falkirk. Jerome Prior grabs it, and nothing really in the way of goal scoring chances yet. It is still so early on this afternoon. But get all your thoughts over to us, whether you're out and about at a game or looking ahead to tomorrow, or still can't get the disastrous Thursday evening out your mind. There is a lot to get stuck into. The Championship, always a fascinating table as well. We've got 2 fixtures there. And what did you say? You were devastated, were you, when Mark Wilson's Partick Thistle equalised late last night?
Yeah, I was sitting watching the last 10 minutes because that's all I could really bear of that. And I'm looking, I'm thinking, Airdrie 1-0 up. That's good. He's just had manager of the month. Gives his photo taking himself. Not a sign of the backroom staff.
No. Did you notice this?
What?
Right, I'll need to double check the time frame on this. My version of events, and his will be completely different, but he's not here, so that's the beauty of it. He get manager of the month on Thursday. I saw a picture, just him holding the trophy.
Yeah.
You and I ridiculed him, rightly so. Where's the acknowledgement of your backroom staff? I think they heard it, because by Friday, all of a sudden, I start seeing picture. Everybody was there.
Didn't see it.
Kingsley was in it. David Hasselhoff was in it. Anybody with a loose connection to Partick Thistle. Alan Ruff,
everybody
was kicking the ball up and down the pitch in the background.
And it's the greatest thing in the world, because I sent him a wee message saying, look, enjoy your first, because when I think I was into my 4th, right? And you start thinking this is a curse, because the next game you tend to lose. Watch it, honestly, it is, you tend to lose. And I sat there and I'm looking 80 odd minutes on the clock, 1-0. I've now got my one finger on the typewriter on the phone, and I'm typing away there, and I've got a lovely message to send right on full time.
Yeah.
And what happened? Here's the goalkeeper.
How do you explain Derek McInnes? 3 in a row, manager of the month award.
No one else has got any consistency. Cammy, you got, I think everybody apart from Partick Thistle fans feeling for the young Airdrie goalkeeper.
Yes.
He absolutely devastated, wasn't he?
Yeah, listen, I think he's only 20, so he's a young kid, and it's hard, especially when games are on TV, and he's probably not used to that exposure in the last minute, literally the last kick of the game. And it was such a simple take as well. We've all been there, easy ones, and they go back in the back of the net. So yeah, listen, you've got to feel for him. I heard that Mark had maybe just given him a little pat on the back and said keep your chin up when he seen him after it, which was a nice gesture.
No, it wasn't nice. It was probably
patronising.
Patronising is the word. Yeah. I'd be doing this myself. Thanks very much. You've not ruined my weekend. I'm away to, and I spoke to him today. He's away to the rugby, Scotland.
He's changed. He's changed.
Hospitality.
He spends a few weeks up in the West End. Now he's away to the rugby on a Saturday.
Don't worry, boys. We will get a run back a week tomorrow. I'm looking forward to
it. Seriously though, but that go down as a missed opportunity for Partick Thistle last night, or did it just keep the kind of unbeaten going? Look, they're not going to win every game, let's be honest.
They didn't make enough of St Johnstone when they hit a wobbly run, and last night was the opportunity to go on to the same number of points as St Johnstone. I always think these things are good psychological damage done to St Johnstone. They can't get rid of this pest called Partick Thistle.
Yeah,
but a draw wasn't enough last night.
I think when Partick, if they'd got the win, it puts a lot of pressure on, because Dunfermline away is a difficult fixture for St Johnstone today. So I think if they'd got that 3 points, it just escalates that pressure onto St Johnstone to go and get 3 points again. But I feel as if it was a missed opportunity.
Yeah, especially when they've got St Johnstone next game, isn't it? Home game. That's a big one. After the doing they got at Perth. So
the first match after his wedding.
Yeah, so it is, yeah. Oh, what a disastrous couple of weeks he's got.
First goal, I think, anywhere in Scotland comes in Dumfries. Queen of the South 1, East Fife 0. Liam Smith with the goal. Morton have had a fairly bright start there at Capello against Arbroath, but still nothing. Same for Livy. Stevie May with a shot easily held. So we await the first goal in our featured matches, which means we probably, Hugh Keevins, should do this.
Okay.
The first half teaser
with the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
Bit of a random one. Can you name the last 6 players to go directly from Hearts to Rangers, or from Rangers to Hearts, on a paid or a free transfer? Last 6 to go directly from Hearts to Rangers, or Rangers to Hearts, on a transfer fee or on a free transfer. Loans don't count.
Okay, let's see it at Clyde SSB. It is a race, so get all 6 players down if you can on one tweet and send it over before everyone else does. That's the ultimate aim of the game. But of course, if you want to chuck a couple of names in, see what sticks, just have a bit of fun with it, you're more than welcome to do that as well. So it's at Clyde SSB. Basically the last 6 players to go from Hearts to Rangers, or Rangers to Hearts, permanently, no loans. So give us your thoughts. A couple of easy ones, a couple of middle of the road, and 1 or 2 absolute crackers that I'll be really, really impressed with if you can get. Queen of the South have got the bit between their teeth. 2-0 up against East Fife already after 8 minutes.
See the improvement they made when they were Marvin. Yeah.
And unfortunately Livingston had to take them in. Look at the state they're in. They need a result today. I agree. I know it's early on in the league, but they need a result. They need something to go for them.
Well, we do have a goal in one of our featured championship matches. Which one is it?
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Goal Dunfermline. Dunfermline 1, St Johnstone 0. And it is Barney Stewart on loan from Falkirk. He's crossed that rivalry and he has scored. He's enjoying himself under Neil Lennon, playing very well, and he's taken 8 minutes to get Dunfermline up and running against St Johnstone. It's a near post flick. It's a low cross from Matthew Todd, and there was Barney Stewart to provide the finish.
Potential compensation for Partick Thistle for what happened last night, because it could be a good weekend if you get 1 point and St Johnstone get none.
Yeah, good start for Neil Lennon, but still a long way to go. We've all tipped St Johnstone for that, so we're hoping for a wee bit of a comeback.
Yeah, I always thought it was going to be a tight game, because Dunfermline have picked up recently under Neil Lennon. So yeah, listen, it'll be an interesting game to see how that one plays out.
I love Barney Stewart's story, Hugh. You like stories.
Yeah.
Forget tactics and all that.
Rubbish.
Honestly, who cares? But the story, so first of all, if we sort of take it from now and work backwards, even the fact that he's on loan at Dunfermline from Falkirk, that's quite interesting. He arrived at Falkirk having played for Heriot Watt University, went straight from Heriot Watt to Falkirk and helped them get promoted. He's but apparently, don't be taken in by the education at Heriot Watt. He's the one without the brains in the family, because his brothers went to Oxford and Cambridge respectively, and he was once somewhat of a tennis prodigy when he was younger.
That'd be some carry on the household with the boat race. Oh, who are you supporting there? Who's mum and dad supporting?
In the bath, just practicing.
Exactly.
I thought that Heriot Watt, they just played rugby.
He represented London in Gaelic football as well. It's a brilliant story.
He sounds like a one-man feature.
I think so. He's
what a family that is.
Yeah, quite a lot going on. People say that now. That's a phrase that you use regularly in football. We say what a that is. By the way, I'm not sure I've ever heard what a family that is.
Is that a new one?
I do quite like it. You know, hear what a goal that is. By the way, what a player he is. By the way.
What family that is.
family.
I thought he was doing well just to have the first name of Barney. I like him, Barney.
Barney's
Yeah,
good,
that's
isn't it?
good, isn't it?
Didn't realise there was a backstory that Steven Spielberg could have written.
Throw that into the mix as well. There we go. We've really spun out that Dunfermline opener, haven't we? You can tell it's a quiet day. Just you wait and see what else I've got up my sleeve. We're getting a lot of goals though going in Scotland now. Dumbarton won. Cammy, your Annan team are losing. Leighton McIntosh with the goal. Queen's Park have taken the lead against Wraith Rovers. Josh Fowler, who'd come back from injury recently, he is obviously one of their main attacking threats. He's put them 1-up against Wraith at Lesser Hampden, or whatever it may be called. Forgive me for not knowing the official name. Edinburgh City 1, Elgin City 0. You know why Annan are losing, don't you?
Yeah.
He's been training with them.
I know.
Nah, listen.
I know. He came out with the most ridiculous story I've ever heard in my life.
He's not getting the gloves back on, is he?
He said, who's your manager? Willie Gibson?
Yeah, Willie.
He's right. He's up behind the goals and he's died for one shot, and Willie Gibson's went up and says, do you know fancy, make a wee bit of comeback?
You seriously?
Seriously?
Full session on Thursday.
Should we be expecting you going to rejoin the ranks?
Nah, I can't see it.
Are you younger than Craig Gordon?
Yeah.
Well, why
a
not?
good couple of years.
All right, well, I'll tell you what you should do then. Give you two the big massive gloves, put you in the goals, and I'm telling you, nothing's getting by you. Nothing's getting by you.
What are you trying to say about
with
his
that
eyes?
big baggy t-shirt on and the big gloves, you're unbeatable.
So have you got the bug in any way?
No,
Training
listen,
with
I've
Annan?
actually really enjoyed the training for the last kind of month that I've been in. It's been good. I didn't think I had like when you stop for so long, nearly 5 years. I
was going to ask, is that how long it's been?
Yeah, so you feel like you don't miss it anymore. Do you know what I mean? But then since I've went back in, you're back in that environment and. No, listen, it's been good. Ask me after Friday night.
I was
going to
say the reason you've been training with Annan is because the Masters is this weekend. Forget the small matter of Scotland's qualification for the World Cup. This weekend coming is all about the Masters. Honestly,
tell me something just on that. Is Wilson playing in the Masters?
I think he is. Yeah,
I wonder if any of them are
taking
taking
Dundee
it.
United.
I wonder if any of them are taking it seriously. Is Cammy though training with an SPFL side to get himself
but
back
listen,
in?
If you've not caught a ball as a goalie for 5 years, you don't want to rock up into that.
Some would say you didn't
add a
catch
few more years on it.
Some would say you didn't catch them during your career.
A lot of people remember you as a goalkeeper.
So you are representing
Rangers.
Yep. Your team is Cammy Bell, Morris Ross.
There you go.
No,
they're not going to win it.
The reason
I don't care who the other lot are.
The reason I bring it up was it not last year? Remember Marvin, where he was boshing everybody out the way? Did they not bosh Morris Ross out the way? And then he tried to get retribution, but pulled his hamstring in the process. Tell you what, though, you can do worse than this in front of you. Bruno Alves, Barry Ferguson, Pedro Mendes, Lee McCulloch, Nacho Novo, and Martin Waghorn,
who's playing in FC Ballers at the moment, isn't he?
Well, hold on a second. Pause for breath. When you look to your right, do you see that man there?
Yep.
95 years old.
Why did you look out the door?
95 years old, Nokia in front of him.
Yes.
You think he knows what the Ballers League is?
Absolutely not. Not a clue.
I barely know what it is.
I don't know what
Hardly
it is.
any of our listeners know what it is, and you've just looked at Hugh Keevins for some sort of acknowledgement on the Ballers League.
No, do you know what? I saw a feature on telly the other day about a guy who played in. I'd never heard of it, and there he was. But it just seems to me to be an even smaller version of five-a-side, is it not?
But anyway, Martin Waghorn is playing in it. He looks sharp, so I think your team's not bad.
Listen, no, I think our team looks decent, but again, you look at some of the other teams, a few younger boys that have just retired, so I think that's key.
It started really poor and I've really grown into it, I've got to say. But I just want to know who's picking that team right. You've got all those players, quality, and then you end it with, let's go Morris Ross and Cammy Bell. what are we thinking here?
That's a scraping the barrel.
Hold on, we've got a big goal to tell you about.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
And it's a guy that will be older than some of the guys playing in the Masters, I'm sure. Brian Graham, 16 minutes on the clock. He's buried a penalty to make it Falkirk 1, Livingston 0. It looks like Stevie May has handled the ball from a Connor Allen shot. And is it going to be a quiet weekend for VAR, or is that one going to be debatable? We will see. But it was from a Falkirk corner. We think Stevie May was the one who handled it. In the end up, penalty given, and Brian Graham sticks it away.
Well, great start for Falkirk.
Nick Walsh, the ref, by the way.
I thought he was VAR today.
Yeah.
VAR, sorry, yes, yeah.
So great start for John McGlynn, for Brian, friend of the programme, Graham. Marv, you've got their number, Marv? Have you lost it, Marv?
Well, they lost an early goal against Hibs, and they showed great character and come back. Was it 24 seconds against Hibs? 18. So 16 minutes, that's an improvement for Big Marv's coaching.
That's a brilliant start for Falkirk, though. Again, it's a big goal. Brian Graham stepping up, taking the pressure on and putting it away, and it's a really good start. But you're looking for a reaction from Livingston, because as you say, I feel like this is a really big match for Livingston. I know we're early in the season, but again, they need to start turning some wins in.
Cammy, let me ask you, playing the devil's advocate, Falkirk, if that scoreline became a result, would be third in the table after Hearts and Celtic. Is that a good or a bad reflection on the Premiership?
Listen, I think there's a lot of teams that haven't started the season very well. So you then start to question the standard of the league.
But listen, hold on a second. You've then got a choice, though, to go, that's an amazing story for Falkirk, and well done Falkirk, absolutely. And they've been brilliant.
100%.
Negative spin on everything. They've got to celebrate.
And listen, absolutely brilliant. Well on Falkirk, because again, a lot of pundits had it out there that they were the one that they would struggle this season. Or
I don't know them, David.
They've
come
not
out with that.
Oh, a few.
Have they?
There was a lot.
Falkirk will struggle.
Yeah.
What sort of pundits are they?
Because again,
they're relegated.
Again, they're saying they didn't recruit, but I just feel as if, yes, listen, it's a brilliant story for Falkirk, but we look where our teams are in Scotland. Hearts are absolutely flying, so you take them out of it. But when you're looking at your Celtics, your Rangers, your Aberdeens in Europe, we have struggled. There's no getting away from it. So has the standard dropped this season in the league? But then,
like I said about how early it is, so if that did stay, so what did you say? Falkirk would go to third.
Yeah.
So Hibs would be fourth. The Rangers fifth. Is that what it would be by the end of the day? Does anybody in here think Rangers will finish fifth?
No.
Right, so there you go.
No, I'm not worried.
But we're here until 6 o'clock. I'm pretty good to something to talk about.
Well, here's one for you. We've read Cammy's Masters team, right? You've heard Rangers offering.
Yeah.
Does this Celtic team beat it?
Right, go.
Goalkeeper? Don't know yet. TBC it says.
Yeah.
Kelvin Wilson, Effie Ambrose.
Yeah.
Charlie Mulgrew.
Yeah.
Joe Ledley.
Yeah.
Bobby Petta.
Yeah.
Ross Wallace. Simon Donnelly. A super scoreboard theme in every team.
Yeah. Love it. I've looked at. There's a few weak links, and they're all related to Super Scoreboard. But I've got to say,
I totally agree.
I fancy them to edge it. Yeah.
Rangers, right? Okay. Now here's one for you. Paul Gallagher in goal, Dundee United. Oh, Mark Wilson's not listed in this Dundee United team.
He's getting married next Sunday, mate.
That's a good point.
What happens if he injures himself?
Well, that'll be why. Paul Gallagher, Paul Dixon, Gary Kenneth, Craig Conway, Morgaro Gomez, Prince Blabin, John Rankin, Danny Swanson.
That's a fit team.
Yeah.
That's young. That's got energy.
Yeah.
That's got energy.
Does it?
Yeah.
Not sure. And the Dandy Dons, Joe Lewis. Oh, he'll be the best keeper in it. Sorry, Cam.
Yeah.
You're right.
Andy Considine, Kevin McNaughton, Johnny Hayes, Russell Anderson, Derek Young, Adam Rooney, Lee Miller.
Oh, quite like that.
Okay.
Big Lee will be giving up their haircuts, getting them nice and smart, ready for it.
If Celtic are looking for a goalkeeper, could they play Stevie Woods, their own goalkeeping coach?
Aye.
Can play anybody.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Look at the Rangers, they've scraped the barrel.
I don't know if this is a day that League 2 takes a bit of a twist, because Spartans are 6 points ahead of East Kilbride at kick-off, but Spartans are losing to Forfar and East Kilbride are beating Stirling Albion. John Robertson with his East Kilbride goal, so maybe a bit of a twist.
I love the name of the Forfar goal scorer, Mackenzie Lemon. That's a name and a half.
That's a headline writer's dream, isn't it? Lewis Smith from over the bar from 20 yards. Stevie Mays down injured, so it's not going well for Livy. Falkirk with the lead in that one. Go and remind us of your teaser, please.
Yeah, it's all about Hearts and Rangers. Can you tell me the last 6 players to go directly from Hearts to Rangers, or from Rangers to Hearts, on a paid for transfer or a free transfer?
Okay, lots of very, very good answers coming in. Nevitz wants to throw in, speaking of goalkeepers, Neil Alexander.
Nope, not there.
Right, okay. Murphy wants to go Barry Mackay.
Not there.
And also David Templeton.
No.
Okay, keep the guesses coming then.
How
Loads
many
of
do we
you
need?
are getting close. It says 6.
1, 2, 3.
Greg's Gardens would like to go for Ian Black.
Yeah, okay.
Nope, the old painter and decorator, but it's not him.
Right, okay. Lee Miller's listening. Good job he didn't say anything too offensive. He just said he likes the look of the big strike force that Aberdeen have got.
They'll just go back to front.
How can you play 2 target men at indoor Masters football? What are they going to? What's happening there? They just keep knocking it down to each other.
Listen, they won it last year though, so they're champions.
They're playing for set plays, so they get Miller and all that in the box.
Just 3 bounces and boot it up the park.
Hold
on, did Joe Lewis, the goalie, not score last season?
Yeah, that gave me the fear actually.
Do you think that's a flaw in the rule?
You're allowed to do that.
He just punted it over the other goalie's head.
But
I mean, technically
it was against Rangers, and I think Roy Carroll played last year, and I couldn't quite get why Roy Carroll was so high. I didn't know what happened. I just seen it as a clip, so I'm unsure.
Anyway, we've got all this to look forward to if that sort of thing floats your boat. Next weekend, Shinnie is coming on for May. Andrew Shinnie on for Stevie May. It's another blow really for Livy when things not going well. You don't want to be forced into an injury and a change with only 24 minutes or so on the clock,
and you're ready to go off to a bad start, 1 behind. Things ain't going good for David Martindale and Livy and Big Marv, but I thought he was brilliant on TV the other week there, so he's got a career if things really keep going the way they're going.
Speaking of things not going well,
yeah.
Tony Docherty, Callum Davidson, Ross County 0, Ayr 1.
I think Glasgow's big 2 are making a real go for it, for this make-believe category that I've dreamt up, but the sort of pound for pound worst start to the season, you'd need to throw Ross County in there.
Yeah, I mean, Roy McGregor, the owner of the club, a man who's ploughed plenty of money in to this season's attempt to get out of the division, he must be thinking, what is
he's gone the right way about it. He'll be in League, he'll be in League One.
Am I right in saying it was 3-0 against Arbroath last week?
Yeah.
So that would be a hammer blow. 2 poor defeats at home if that stays the same result.
It's quite remarkable. I mean, the level of player that they've got in, and let's be honest, the wages that some of them will be being paid, I obviously don't know the specifics, but they've taken players there that have got real Premiership pedigree, top flight pedigree, and it's remarkable.
The managerial wage bill will be fairly high.
And don't get me wrong, plenty of time to turn this one round today, but if you look at even just the squad today, Trevor Carson in goal. There was a time when Trevor Carson, one of the best keepers in the top flight. Declan Gallagher, who was a real mainstay for a Dundee United team that finished 4th, 5th last season. You go right through it, Gary Mackay-Stephen, Dean Cornelius, who'd previously been at Motherwell and back up the road, Jordan White and Ronan Hale. Most people thought Ronan Hale was too good for the Championship and probably should have been bought.
That's a brilliant strike
in the
force.
summer. And
Nicky Clark,
backed up by Nicky Clark, who's on the bench, and James Scott, who's also on the bench.
James Scott, that was at Motherwell St Mirren.
Yeah, and then you look at their league position, they're almost 20 points behind top of league, so there's no way they can, for me, win the league this season. So
went early in that, Cammy.
That's why we've got the big predictions that he makes.
No wonder we've got you in the Saturday now with these sort of predictions.
They are 19 points behind.
Incredible though. Incredible, because you would have, before the season started, again you looked at recruitment, I thought they were recruiting pretty well, and then they've just had a disastrous start to the season.
Don't get me wrong, I'll go with you here. I've got them down for winning the league at the start of the season.
Did you? See, to be fair, I would be surprised if 90% of the pundits didn't go Ross County.
Hugh went Mark's Partick Thistle.
Well, it's not a million miles off.
Exactly.
St Johnstone must have had a few mentions. No,
I'll be in Spain next year.
Anyway, this is the earliest we've ever referenced your pre-season predictions. Let's wait and see how they play out. Do you know what I've actually got running on Twitter? This is just an aside. I was thinking it's obviously a quiet day, and we always try and reflect on, when we get to Saturday, reflect on the week as a whole. There's a little post that we've put up on Twitter there, because have you seen the new Scotland strip that's out this week?
Yep.
You a fan of it?
Yeah, I like it,
because I'm quite a big fan of it.
Yeah, I do like
I'm
it.
seeing a lot of mixed
Is there?
Kind of mixed reactions to it, but I was pretty sure it would go down really well. I thought it would be quite popular. Gordon Dalziel, I feel like that's a bit of you. I can see that. Double XL for the USA next summer.
I think the sleeves will need to go out for my biceps, mate. But I like it.
Aesthetically, you like
Is it not just the same as one before?
No, I mean, it's nothing like the one
What's the
before. Thanks
criticism that's
for
coming
paying
its way?
attention. Oh, some people don't like the badge centrally.
In the middle.
I quite like that, though.
I know, I like it.
Yeah.
Hugh, to your liking.
See,
You're just worried the grandkids are going to ask you to buy it.
No, here's a dilemma. Scotland versus Denmark. 2 of my grandsons are half Danish and wear the Denmark strip. And another
got
one,
half and half.
Another one of my grandsons wants this new Scotland strip. So on the night of the Scotland-Denmark game, pandemonium.
So what we did anyway, the reason I'm asking is on Twitter, there's a post already up there you can just reply to. Are you having it? Is it good? And more importantly, what's the best and worst efforts we've ever had? That's what we need to try and establish on the week that the new Scotland strip was launched. Head over to Twitter at Clyde SSB. What is the best and worst we've ever had? And are you having this one? And we'll reference
the
it. The
yellow one must come into the category.
A few yellows though.
Worst.
Which one?
There was a yucky one, wasn't there? I'm trying to describe it.
I didn't mind some of the yellow ones
just
previously.
Didn't suit my colour, my skin complexion.
The kind of lighter yellow one?
It was a sort of a yucky yellow.
Oh, was it right? Is that a technical term?
Is there a colour out there called a yucky yellow? Yeah. It wasn't so nice. But look, I disagree. I'm a great believer, right? You're playing for Scotland, the passion. The badge goes to the left hand side next to the heart because you play for the country.
Well, Murnetti says Murnetti actually says the best is the yellow and blue hoops on the white. Remember Italia 90? And again, that shows you everyone's got their own taste here, because he says the worst is the 96, the tartan. I think that's one of the best.
Tartan was okay.
I love that.
I like that.
Yeah.
I think that was one. Remember it, Hugh?
Yeah.
You'd have been down there, I'm sure.
European Championships, yeah.
I thought that was one of the best. Oh, I'll tell you what, just shows you a real range of opinions. But anyway, just a bit of fun, not something we'll dwell on too long. Head over to Twitter. There's a picture of that new Scotland home kit. Are you having it? What's the best and worst we've ever come up with? Do let us know. Brad Spencer's gone wide from 22 yards for Falkirk. They're 1-up on Livy and enjoying their afternoon. We've got a big goal in our featured championship match as well. Dunfermline lead league leaders St Johnstone. See if Dunfermline win, do you think Mark Wilson will fire Lenny a text? Thanks, Lenny.
Oh yeah.
Well done, Lenny.
Yeah.
Invite you to the wedding.
Always loved you, Lenny.
Yeah, I spoke to him today. He's a changed boy. I couldn't wait to get off the phone. But I'm looking forward to seeing him next week and celebrating.
Falkirk Livy, as we said, goal there, but Morton Arbroath still goalless. That is our 3 featured matches. We're asking you to keep ticking along on the teaser as well. We have ridiculed Cammy Bell's Masters career before it's even started. So listen, we're a real variety box on a
What's
Saturday
a
afternoon.
successful manager doing it at a rugby match?
Yeah, I can know.
Yeah. It's a freebie, mate.
Oh,
well, he's good lady, the wife to be next week.
Right.
She's obviously sponsors Arnold Clark.
Right.
She's very high up in Arnold Clark. So put
She
two and two together.
sponsors Arnold Clark. Did you just say?
No, she's Arnold Clark.
Arnold Clark sponsors the rugby, right.
Put 2 and 2 together, and you've got a freebie.
The old All Blacks, can we not tempt you to head along to that?
Honestly, I would not even consider going to a rugby match.
Is that why Hearts is tomorrow?
Yes,
probably.
Yeah, I figured so, because obviously the other 3 teams have been involved in European competition, and that's why they usually go on a Sunday after a Thursday. The Jambos being the outlier. 4 games on a Sunday.
Well, Super
12,
Sunday.
12 teams in the league. It's an awful lot.
Well, it passes your Sunday if you're not really busy and you're not doing anything.
I'm more worried about right now and what we're going to talk about for the next 2.5
Let's get back on
hours.
the Cammy. I've got a lot of material.
So is everyone.
Ross County back in the game.
There we go.
There we go.
The best striker in the Championships equalised. Ronan Hale, 30 minutes on the clock. Ross County 1, Ayr 1.
Well, they could have been doing with that goal, and
we've got another
it's
one.
all happening in the Championship now.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Hit unsend on the message to Neil Lennon, because St Johnstone have equalised, and it's a Rhys McAleer. Dunfermline 1, St Johnstone 1, level there. It's a brilliant 25-yard free kick over the wall into the top left corner, right out of the top drawer. It's Dunfermline 1, St Johnstone 1.
I think Fraser, Wishart and Dazzler.
Hold your thoughts there, Hugh Keevins.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Morton 1, Arbroath 0. Chris Moore, and what a goal this is as well. It's a first time volley in off the bar. Hard to beat. Everybody knows when it's in off the bar, it makes it much better to the eye. And he's done it, Moore. It's a fantastic volley. And Morton do lead Arbroath as well. So a couple of interesting score lines starting to develop.
That Tom Grant started his match preview by talking about Dougie Imrie on TV last night. It was heartbreaking. But the death of his daughter has prompted Dougie and his partner to get in about baby related charities, handing over a cheque to a hospital for £18,000 recently. So they're doing magnificent work, and good luck to Dougie and his partner. They are special people.
I know it's a bit of a cliche, but genuinely, how fair play to the sort of mental strength and fortitude. How could conceding a goal ever matter as much ever again? When you've gone through that,
listen,
the whole perspective must change completely.
Gordon, I've gone through it as a grandfather with one of my girls, and I know, I can tell you from personal experience the emotional turmoil created by such a thing. So I applaud Dougie Imrie, I applaud the Morton fans who stood by him, both while his daughter was still with us and after she had gone. So it was a heartwarming story, absolutely terrific. Now, Tom Grant, I'll move from Tom Grant to Fraser Wishart. Fraser said something prior to the game, and I know that Dazzler thinks that Fraser never says anything that's correct, but sometimes relegation can mean a reset, and you actually come back the better for it. And that might be the case with Simo Valakari and St Johnstone, because they look a far more attractive side.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Ross County have turned it around, Cammy. They're starting to climb that gap, whatever you said it was. Maybe the league title charges on, maybe not. Ross County 2, Ayr 1, Jordan White. That front two, Ronan Hale and Jordan White. Quick fire between the two of them, and Ayer's 1-goal lead has been wiped.
Yeah, it's a brilliant response from them. We said that Ross County have been underachieving all season, but again, the players they have on the pitch, Ronan Hale, Jordan White, who scored goals for many years in the top flight, turns it around for them, and that would be a big victory for them, because they need to turn the corner pretty quickly. But again, you look at Ayr United, they're kind of teetering and not having the season that they want to have under Scott Brown.
I don't think that's the last of the goals up there. I've got to say, two teams that are capable of scoring and conceding, so I think we'll get more goals.
A bit of a pause there at the Falkirk Stadium. Lisa and Henderson have collided, so just making sure they're okay. There was a Mo Silla shot a couple of moments ago as well that just went wide. Slack play from Dylan Tate. Silla took advantage but couldn't find the target. In the Championship, St Johnstone have been on top now for about the last 15 minutes or so. Fraser Wishart's predicting them to kick on and win that one there. Dunfermline 1, St Johnstone 1 as things stand. Will we get any more goals between now and the interval? Let's go back to your teaser, Hugh Keevins, if you could.
Can you name the last 6 players to go directly from Hearts to Rangers, or from Rangers to Hearts, on a paid transfer or a free transfer? Loans do not count.
Stu would like to throw a couple of names into the mix. Neil McCann?
No. Let's get back a while.
Yeah, going back a bit too far, aren't we, on that one? Lots of people getting quite close. There's another one from Barry Mackay that's come in. You weren't having that though, were you?
No,
I think we mentioned him earlier on. One of those.
Barry Mackay is not that long ago, is it? How long's he been at Hearts?
Who said
he went to Forest.
Who said it's to do with time?
Yeah, he went to Forest.
I'm sure Fraser Wishart can speak to this for sure, but the sort of unforgiving career that you guys go and carve yourselves out. Barry Mackay, 30 years of age,
not got a club.
No club currently. As we head towards Christmas.
It's interesting. I see obviously Dylan McGeoch's another one. You see these guys that I've played with both of them. So yeah, it's tough when you're a player and you can't find a club, or you can't find a club that's right for you. So it's interesting. I'm amazed that Barry hasn't got a club, because I certainly think he's still got a lot to offer,
especially in the kind of football food chain. When you leave Hearts,
I
think there's still
there are
still levels below that
absolutely.
you know, if you know, sometimes obviously you need to step down slightly. You think that there are a few stages below Hearts.
Yeah, but I can't understand. I totally agree. I do the show sometimes with Dylan, He comes across a brilliant professional, still training, still eager to get back in. Now people will think, oh, they must be asking for too much money. They're not. They're looking for an opportunity to go and play football, a sport they love. They've made a couple of quid out of the game, and there's nothing to lose from a championship team or whatever saying, look, I'll tell you what I'll do. If you play, you get X amount. But if you don't play, we save it. You know 100%. What I mean? It's baffling to me with these championship teams.
And I get it. I was there myself in my career and had loads of injuries, and you get it, the why clubs fear it. But as you say, Daz, that's the deal that has got to be. It's a high appearance fee rather than a high basic
exactly.
wage. So I still think both of them players that I mentioned have got a huge amount to offer Scottish football.
Well, one to keep an eye on. Sometimes it gets to about this stage and clubs realise that they need to do something, or somebody gets injured and all that sort of stuff, and you try and patch up some gaps in your squad. But one to keep an eye on. That's the first half teaser that led us there, in case anyone's wondering. And Fraser Wishart, listen, that's why he's here. Just the class, the knowledge, the info.
Come out with.
He says that the champion is a good point. The championship teams, because they've now got these cooperation loans and normal loans, you know, with the top flight clubs or whatever, so less opportunities.
Yep.
If you need somebody, you phone your cooperation agreement club. You phone Rangers, you phone Celtic, whoever. You get them rather than dipping into the Barry Mackays.
But my argument against that is you're getting an experienced player who you know what he can do. You're maybe phone Rangers getting a player that's been playing
money.
Yeah,
no.
But I know what you're saying, but I would rather go down the road. I still believe
the championship club doesn't pay any wage for if it's a cooperation agreement loan. Yeah, that's the point of it.
Yes, but I still believe there's what we were talking about. There's an opportunity to say, we'll pay you as you play, and these guys would take that offer right now because they're not in it for the money. 100%.
Every circumstance is different.
I know how much Dylan's got in the bank. He told me first.
I get that, but then it becomes a point when you're a player. We're now in November. They've not got a club. They've not played football for a long period of time. This season will soon disappear for them guys, so they need to find a club pretty soon, pretty quickly.
For Livy, Smith can't quite get the power on the shot from the cross. Bain holds. Scotland's number one was ringing around the stadium earlier on. The Falkirk fans are backing their man, and so they should. We've already got the teaser up and running, so I don't want to over quiz you. Scott Bain, first Falkirk Scotland call up since. Anybody?
Hold on. How far back are we going?
Not too. Well, do you know what? The scary thing is, it probably is about 20 years, and I was going to say it's not too far.
I was getting down the roads.
15, so something like that.
Kevin McAllister.
No. Fraser Wishart's got it. Tom Grant's got it. Out there at the grounds, just to make you feel.
Yeah, but Fraser Wishart's probably read it in the programme. Oh, he's at Dunfermline, in. No, he probably wouldn't. Tom Grant's read it. Where's he?
Nah, he's at Capel.
Oh, he's not ready. Well done, boys.
If you don't get this in the next 5 minutes, you're at a game next week and Fraser's in here. Just as it's getting colder.
But you want people to turn off. Come on, Cammy, help me out.
20 years ago.
Yeah.
20 years ago.
Give or take, I don't know, 15.
No,
forgive me.
Yeah. Must be a centre forward.
No. Centre back.
Davy Weir.
No. Oh no, after him. I think he's only got one cap as well, so that's where you're
Webster. Did he play with Falkirk?
No.
He's only got one cap.
Do you know what? In terms of era, position, Andy Webster's not the worst shout I've heard. I mean, it's not good by any stretch. It's not a good shout, but you're not like a million miles off.
I'm impressed with you two. I've not been impressed with them since 2 o'clock, but they've really impressed me now.
This has really turned into a quiz show on a Saturday afternoon.
Yeah,
Listen,
somebody help me.
Come on,
somebody help.
Come
on,
slack.
Hugh.
I've tried.
Falkirk centre half.
Hearts.
Played with Hearts as well.
David Friel went to school with him. Is that going to help you? I don't know.
I don't know what
school. What sort of age is he now?
Well, David Friel went to school with him. David's about 40 odds.
Yeah. See, it's about your age.
Jarnbar?
Yes! Cammy Bell. Go on, Cammy.
Love it. That's who I thought it was.
There you go. So anyway, Scott Bain, Scotland's number one, sing the Falkirk fans. Will he be next weekend? Hope he doesn't get injured this afternoon.
I know.
What'll happen then? Who we got?
You. Cammy is back after his
get the
training with Annan.
Willie Gibson will give Steve Clark a phone. By the way, I've seen this young new goalkeeper training.
Tell you what, it's a good one this as well, because you don't need me to tell you the actual importance of it. The part of being a squad that's trying to qualify for the World Cup and some of the biggest games. There's a wee warm weather training camp in Turkey, I think, before they even go to Greece.
Seriously?
So see if you're the third choice goalie
Oh,
and
you're getting
you're
your
not playing,
teeth done, aren't you?
You're
getting your teeth done.
Pick Andy Halliday and go and visit his hair.
You're getting some sun in your back, maybe getting the barnet sorted or the
Yeah, I've never been in Turkey.
I've done that for many years. Third choice Scotland. Just David Marshall didn't fancy it when
Because
it
you
was,
got one cap.
Yeah,
but were you in a lot of squads?
loads of
Really?
squads, and it was Craig Gordon and McGregor were pretty much the two goalies. And Mass, I think Mass, because he was such a
So
good
like,
standard.
how many are we talking?
Oh, probably 10.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Who were you playing with that time?
Kilmarnock.
And who was the manager?
And then I actually was still in squads when I moved to Rangers as well.
Who was your manager?
Craig Levine, and then it was Strachan came in.
Says it all.
About which one?
You guess.
Hamilton Accies 2, Peterhead 0, Ollie Shaw with the goal. Hamilton Accies, an absolute, what word would you use to describe the chaos?
Yeah, but
off the field, but on the field, well done to them because they keep plugging away. Hamilton Accies 2, Peterhead 0.
John Rankin had a 15-point deduction last season to deal with it, effectively relegated the Accies. A 6-point deduction a few weeks ago, but they continue to work hard, win games, and they're still climbing the table. John Rankin, well done.
Yeah, it's been quite a chaotic time for the Hamilton Accies fans. Cheer them up somewhat today, being 2-0 up, but you just kind of wonder what's round the corner. It feels like it never goes away.
Well, the chairman resigned during the week due to ill health, so a chaotic picture, and that's why John Rankin and the team deserve all the credit.
They've done brilliant because, as you say, that distraction off the pitch and the amount of points that John Rankin's racked up this season, wins, is incredible. He's done a brilliant job there.
Right, we're only a couple of minutes away from the break, so any goals we get will be significant. What we'll do, in fact, let's round off this teaser, Hugh, just to leave us some room.
The first half teaser
with the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
The last 6 players to go directly from Hearts to Rangers or from Rangers to Hearts on a paid transfer or a free transfer are John Souttar, Hearts to Rangers; Andy Halliday, Rangers to Hearts; Kyle Lafferty, Hearts to Rangers; Jason Holt, Hearts to Rangers; Danny Wilson, Hearts to Rangers; and Scott Gallagher, Rangers to Hearts.
Unbelievably difficult. There's a bit of a vested interest in here because I think with Scott Gallagher, a teammate of yours at Rangers, and I went to primary school with him, so there you go.
What one did you go to? Now Top?
Well, a bit of a different era from you though, so I don't know why he didn't go to school with you.
Did you go to Now Top?
I did.
Now Top as well.
Did you?
Yeah.
Him and I, similar educational path.
Yeah,
I can tell.
Look at where we've ended up now.
Look at us now. Only a few decades apart. But anyway, there we go. Scott Gallagher, Danny Wilson, Jason Holt, Kyle Lafferty, Andy Halliday, and John Souttar. Loads of you got it, and loads got 5 out of the 6. I think Scott Gallagher was obviously the more difficult of them all, but well done to... Oh, in fact, we don't even have a full podium. We don't have 3 people with all 6. Wow. Aaron was in second place. Well done to Aaron. And Scott McScott was the winner, got all 6. So very well done, and a good Who Am I still to come in the second half. So let's see if we get any late drama. I know the half-time whistles are starting to go. Queen's Park 1, Wraith Rovers 1. Actually, I think I missed that equaliser at some point. Queen's Park taking the lead. But level terms as we head into the break. Our 3 featured matches should be rounding off pretty soon as well. Remember, Falkirk do lead against Livingston, and as things stand would move up to 3rd in the Scottish Premiership, which would be absolutely brilliant for John McGlynn and the start to the season. Back-to-back promotions, people writing them off already, saying they hadn't recruited enough, and they are sitting pretty as things stand. Half-time at Capello. Let's speak to Tom Grant.
A cracker of a goal separates these two Gordons, scored by a central defender no less. In truth, it's been a game of very few clear-cut chances, very bitty, very scrappy, but are both perhaps shaded it in terms of playing football, certainly before the goal. It was they who started the brighter, but it was Morton who had the best chance after 5 minutes. Owen Moffat flashing a great cross from pretty much the byline. It was low, right across the face of goal. One of those ones defenders are scared to go near. Tommy Adeloy couldn't get on the end of it. Arbroath responded on 16 minutes when Taylor Stephen got himself free in the box, but he could only drive his left-footed effort straight at keeper James Storer. Morton gaffer Dougie Imrie was out his dugout screaming at his players on 24 minutes as Arbroath Scott Stewart dribbled down the right wing and fizzed his cross into the penalty box. 3 Arbroath players waiting there couldn't get near it, but the home manager, shall we say, was less than pleased at his side's defending. But he was shouting with joy on 31 minutes when defender Chris Moore put his side in front. A great cross by Moffat again, and outstretched the centre half's right foot, caught it as sweet as you like. I think it took everyone by surprise, not least keeper Adam McAdams, and it flashed past him via the crossbar. No real response from Arbroath in terms of chances created. Co-managers Colin Hamilton and David Gould will need to get his lads to go again if they're to capitalise on Thistledrop points and close the gap to second. For Morton, Cammy McPherson sent the free kick from 20 yards just wide of the near post right on half time, but they've only had one win in the league this season. Can they hold on here and make it 2?
Looking forward to finding out in the second half. We've also reached the interval in Fraser Wishart's game between Dunfermline and St Johnstone.
Yeah, Dunfermline 31, St Johnstone 1. I thought this would be a good game, but I've not been disappointed. Dunfermline started well, got their lead through Barney Stewart, but slowly St Johnstone shrugged off their slow start, and McAleer with a brilliant equaliser, and then they could have had the lead. You can hear the Dunfermline fans booing. They're not happy with referee Ross Hardy, who gave a free kick for St Johnstone for that equaliser, and the Dunfermline fans thought it wasn't a free kick, but they got the opener in the 8th minute. Matthew Todd, playing wide on the right hand side of the midfield, did really well, flipped in a low cross, 6-yard box, front post. Barney Stewart with a run to that front post. They just got a flick right across the goalkeeper into the net at the right hand post. St Johnstone struggling to get a hold of the ball in the early stages. The goal had given Dunfermline a spring in their step. Jeremy Chiloka Mullen headed a Matthew Todd corner over. He had a really good jump, good power, but he couldn't get it on target. But slowly St Johnstone began to get into the game. 20 minutes, first real threat from them, a back header by Damas Sabidi. He was looping in to the top corner. Brilliant save by the goalkeeper, great touch at full stretch by Billy Terrell to put it out for a corner. From that corner, Sabidi got a flick to the ball, was blocked on the line and scrambled away by Andrew Todd. But Sabidi was the real danger to Dunfermline. He drove the ball across goal, a yard out. Jamie Gullen sliding in, couldn't get a touch at the far post. There was no surprise therefore in 30 minutes when they got the equaliser, and what a brilliant goal it was. As I said, it was a controversial free kick. Charlie Gilmer was penalised for a foul on McAleer. The referee booked Gilmer. The fans were not happy. 25 yards plus in their inside right position. Upstep McAleer curled the ball with pace over the wall, top left hand corner. Goalkeeper absolutely no chance. It was a brilliant strike by the midfield player. Dunfermline hardly been near this Johnson goal, but nearly got the lead just before half time. 39th minute, Czech Diabete and Toby Stewart hesitated to cope with a long ball. They both missed it, and it looked like Barney Stewart could just pass it onto the empty net, but Diabete got back to make a saving tackle. It was a brilliant tackle by the big centre back. Game still in the balance here. I think Simon Valacara will be happy once his team got going. Maybe feel he should be ahead, but Dunfermline certainly not out of this game at all as we hit the break here. Half time at East End Park, Dunfermline 31, St Johnstone 1.
And of course there is VAR in the Premiership, which means those games tend to take a bit longer, and David Friel can tell us all about Falkirk Livingston.
Yeah, half time, Gordon. Falkirk 1, Livingston 0, and like Fraser, Falkirk are ahead, but the game is still in the balance. Brian Graham's penalty's given them the lead. They're looking to move up to third place. As things stand, they will be third. Brian Graham, he's in the team because of Ross McKeever's injury. 37 now, but he's made his presence felt. He's been a handful, took his spot kick really well. But Livy have also competed, they've had their chances. So while Falkirk have probably been the better team on the eye, I don't think this game is won by any stretch of the imagination. They probably do deserve the lead, but David Martindale will be happy with a lot of aspects of Livingston's performance. We spoke earlier about the Kyrell Wilson, Ethan Williams, Calvin Miller, how important they would be for Falkirk, and they've been outstanding again. They've been involved in pretty much every single attack, and they were all involved as Falkirk won a corner that led to the opener in 16 minutes. Calvin Miller's corner was cleared. The Livy actually raced up the other end where Stevie May caught Scott Bain late. The referee stopped the game and we wondered why, but VAR Nick Walsh had actually flagged up a possible May handball to referee Grant Irvin in the Livingston box, so he was sent over to the screen. He then pointed to the spot. Brian Graham grabbed the ball, nobody else was going to get near it, and his finish was perfect to put Falkirk ahead. But as I say, Livingston have competed, they have had some chances. Lewis Smith fired over the bar from 20 yards. Stevie May limped off, but it didn't really hinder Livingston at all. Mo Silla, he picked up a loose Dylan Tate pass, he fired inches wide. Lewis Smith in another chance, just couldn't get power on it. It went into Scott Bain's arms. And saying that, Falkirk have knocked the ball about really well. Calvin Miller's been excellent behind the striker, and Ethan Williams and Kyra Wilson have also been really good. Williams' low drive brought out a really good save from Jerome Prior before the break. So John McGlynn's side are on top. They are heading for third place, but there is still work to be done here. Half time, Falkirk 1, Livingston 0.
We'll do a full roundup of the half time scores when we return.
The winning team all season long. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
About to start the second half of the 3 o'clock games. Let's go back to the Falkirk Stadium. David Friel, I guess clearly a close enough match in terms of score line, but the Falkirk fans must just be loving what they're seeing at the moment.
Yeah, I don't think this has been absolutely vintage, Gordon, but I think in the attacking trio behind Graham, they've got some really, really good players. You know, the two boys that have come in, Wilson and Williams, are getting a lot of plaudits, but I just think Calvin Miller's such an influential player for Falkirk. He's everywhere. John McGlynn's moved him from the wing into that sort of number 10 role, and he just gets on the ball. He's so quick, so direct at every opportunity. And I think having Brian Graham as a focal point has worked quite well. You know, Livingston have defended, they've limited Falkirk to not so many chances, but you always feel that there's a goal in this for Falkirk as well. I've not actually seen the penalty back yet, but some of the guys have seen a replay and say it's a definite penalty. Stevie May sticks his hand out when Calvin Miller's cross comes in. So David Martindale, I mean, I was at Livy a couple of weeks ago when Macaulay Tate inexplicably did that, so David Martindale won't be happy with that. But as I was saying in the half-time report, this game's still there for Livingston. There's no doubt David Martindale will feel they can get back into it. You just need that cutting edge up front.
Maybe a conversation for full time if they do go on and win it, but I wonder if this could be a good example of the evolution of Falkirk and a bit of even more credit towards John McGlynn, because yes, they won the championship last season, but Livy did have their number on the head-to-heads, and everybody sort of concluded from that it's because Falkirk are idealists and they've got their style, but Livy are a bit more streetwise and able to handle them. But Falkirk they've adapted, haven't they? You look at Brian Graham, you look at a more direct approach at times, and it's working.
Yeah, there's not been, you know, sometimes I think Falkirk were maybe falsely accused of that last season. They did mix things up, and certainly in their play today you can see that they're not afraid to go direct. There's been balls over the top at times, and I think for all they've had some eye-catching performances and results, I think if Falkirk can see this out and get this monkey off their back in terms of Livingston, I think this win will mean almost more to John McGlynn than any other this season. It's a huge game for them, a huge 45 minutes in the context of their season, and just for their belief to keep this going. Players are back out now. I think we'll be underway soon.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard Goal Flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy. Get set for the season with expert pharmacy support.
And that is that. On we go to the second half. Can Livy provide some sort of fight back in our only Premiership match? Speaking of the top flight, we'll turn attentions to St Mirren against Hibs, and always interested on the days we get to put a bit more of a spotlight on the Championship as well, which we're very much doing level in our featured match between Dunfermline and St Johnstone, with Greenock Morton holding a half-time advantage over Arbroath. Loads to come in the second half. We'll give you a second half teaser. We'll preview tomorrow's games as well, because there are 4 of them, and tomorrow could be quite an interesting day, Hugh Keevins.
Oh, very interesting. Rangers at Dundee, they simply cannot afford to slip up. But Dundee, if Livy were to win today, Dundee would be bottom of the league tomorrow morning. So big day for Rangers.
Do you think it's more relevant to look at Dundee's record against the big teams this season rather than where they are in the league? Because it's not a league position that would scare you, but yet they've gone to Ibrox and got the result, and they've beaten Celtic at home.
Yeah, and those have been their 2 best performances of the season so far. They were far and away better than Celtic on the day, and they need that kind of intensity about themselves tomorrow. As for Celtic, how controversial do you want it all to be? Martin O'Neill, in or out? The team taken care of and then some by Midtjylland. They're 9 points behind Hearts. The idea of dropping anything at home would be awful for them to contemplate, but they've lost young Callum Osmond, and incidentally, if you can, have a happy birthday today, because he's 20 today. But they've lost him. They've got problems all over the place, and Johnny Kenny is now number 1 choice because there isn't a number 2 choice. So it's a very tense afternoon for Celtic. At the back, they were found seriously wanting in Denmark, Anthony Ralston had a personal nightmare. Kieran Tierney, not much better. So they have to be very, very careful, even though Kilmarnock have lost 4 in the bounds and appear to be in a real bit of trouble.
Yeah, loads to look forward to tomorrow, and we'll do that on the open line for sure. So make sure you get in touch and give us a call around about 5 o'clock and get all your pre-match thoughts tomorrow over to us. Of course, it's more than just pre-match, isn't it? You've got Martin O'Neill's situation, the fallout from European defeats and all the rest of it. Goals going in the second half. Spartans have equalised. The League 2 leaders, 4-1. Spartans 1. Cammy Russell on 48 minutes there. Let's get your teaser up and running whilst we're at it, Hugh.
The second half teaser
with the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
I made appearances for 5 different English clubs before playing for a current Scottish Premiership club. I have been managed by Gary Rowett and Alan Stubbs. I played alongside Chris Clark and Alan Gow, and I've won the Scottish Cup and the Scottish Championship. Who am I? Made appearances for 5 different English teams before playing for a current Scottish Premiership side. Managed by Gary Rowett and Alan Stubbs, played alongside Chris Clark and Alan Gow, won the Scottish Cup and the Scottish Championship. Who am I?
Good question, really good question, and you need to answer it quickly at Clyde SSB. It's just one name, it doesn't take much organisation. Fire a name down and send it over to us, and see, even if you're not sure, why not just guess? Just throw a name in. It doesn't need to be given all that much thought to the ones who win it. We'll certainly need to think it through though and come up with all the right details, because it is a cracker. Get it sent over to us right now. Hamilton Accies 3, Peterhead 0, Ollie Shaw again, and Ross County 3, Ayr 1. Jordan White could be home and hosed.
Well, we talked about Tony Docherty and Callum Davidson, the managerial duo at Ross County, but now the talk turns to Scott Brown. Ayr United gradually slipping down the championship table. Not happening for Scott Brown at the moment at Somerset Park.
Yeah, that would be 4 wins, 4 games without a win, so it would be, and you just feel as if the momentum's went away from Ayr United a little bit, and there's they've spent a lot of money, they've invested in the squad this season, and it's just not happened.
I'm not a huge crowd watcher. I think sometimes we get a bit worked up and arguing over whose crowd's best and all that, and it's all a little bit weird, because overall Scottish football is very well supported anyway.
Yep.
However, Falkirk, with next to no offence to Livy, next to no travelling fans, there won't be loads of them. 7,176 at Falkirk. That is unbelievable.
Yeah, magnificent.
How good is that?
Because, as you say, as an old pal of mine in the newspaper game used to say, Livingston will bring a motorbike half full.
Yeah. And listen, that's for its own sort of unavoidable reasons of where they are and when they were formed and all that stuff. So it's not a criticism of Livy, but my goodness, 7,000 Falkirk fans for a home game against Livy in the league.
The potential's there. I don't know. Did you play Bromfield?
Yeah. I was at Falkirk at the new stadium.
How old do you think Cammy is?
I know, I was going to say.
Right, okay. Well, when I used to play Brockville, I tell you what, they were playing very well. They're good players. They were a good team, and they would pack it out. They really would pack it out. So the potential's there. Get a good side on the pitch, which obviously is happening, especially in the top tier, and the fans will certainly come along and watch the football.
And even in the Championship, because they are 2 big clubs for sure. Dunfermline against St Johnstone, but just under 7,000 there as well.
Yeah, listen,
incredible.
I think when you look at the Championship, there's some phenomenal crowds that are generated now. There's a real interest in it. I think Scottish football is in a good place with it regards to getting bums on seats.
Well, every year it's the best supported league in Europe.
Yeah, and Falkirk, as you say, Daz, I've always felt that in this sort of new Falkirk era. That they're a sleeping giant. They've always been there. They've always had guys who crowds that are ready to go, and they were just looking for that right team on the pitch, and they've got that now, and they've got a team to go and support, and they're absolutely loving it.
We obviously read you the teaser and said to get your answers in at Clyde SSB, but don't forget, also over there, I'm looking for your suggestions on the week that Scotland revealed their new home kit. What do you think of it, and what's the best and worst we've ever had? Give us your suggestions there, and see if there's a story attached. Even better, listen to this from Stu Bacca. The white with the light blue saltire was my favourite. James McFadden, Paris, right? So there's a significance there as well. I think it was quite good on the eye, that as well, would you say? Then the significance of the goal. He says, however, I bought it the morning of the Italy game, and on the way back from buying it in East Kilbride, I wrote off my card because I crashed into some poor lad on his driving test.
Oh,
that's got everything. That one tweet has got more drama than you could ever ask for. I love that.
That guy
I don't
had
love the crash, but you know what I mean.
That was a driving test even worse than mine.
Yeah, so what's your deal again? You have had one driving lesson and that's it in your life?
No, I had the lesson.
You sat a test?
I sat a test, yeah. And the instructor told me, we left the test centre and he told me to turn left. I turned right. And we, long story short, we got back to the test centre and they brought out the charge sheet, and I said, don't bother reading that. Just let me say one thing to you. I hope this has not been a career-changing moment for you.
And how old are you at this point?
Ooh, 25.
Right.
25.
And never again. Never came close again. Never contemplated it again.
Never get into the driver's side of a car again.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Wow.
So what he did was he went straight home, got his big paper out, right, and he wrote down all the mugs that will drive him home at every function. And to this day, what a list he's got.
Working through.
Yeah.
There's only one dishonourable exception. Marv.
He doesn't take you home.
He claimed not to know where Bears Den was.
To be fair, firstly, he won't, and also he needs to get all the way back to Livingston.
Yeah.
So I'm giving him some slack for that. But anyway, that's a good story from Stu Backer. We're asking for the best and worst Scotland strips of all time. Graham Campbell says the best was the 1990 World Cup. I can get behind that. I quite like that one. Back quite a smart Umbro effort with a white collar. It's quite nice. Okay.
Didn't help Billy Bremner when they hit the post.
Not
good player, Billy Bremner.
Oh, hard as nails.
What year did you say?
1990 World Cup. That one was.
Billy Bremner, no 1990.
No. What am I talking about? Which game am I talking about?
You've got you're mixed up on them all.
Billy Bremner, was it
74?
74, yeah.
Anyway, get your suggestions in for the best and worst. Your story doesn't need to be as dramatic as Stu Backers, who crashed into someone on their driving test and wrote off his car. You can just tell us what you think the best and worst kits are. Let us know. Livy have had a chance there. Bakila over the bar. Montano turned into Gareth Bailey, says David Field for 10 seconds. Went on a mad run, and the chance goes a begging. Smith and Gullen have chances for St Johnstone. Good game with that one in the balance at East End Park.
Marv going to get an equaliser, do you think?
Yeah, I do believe. I think they've got a fighting spirit there.
Think they've got a goal in them.
Yeah, they had 2 against Hibs last week, so I've got a sneaky that they can get back into this. They need to start somewhere. They can't keep losing games.
Jeremy Bakila is the type of guy that's about to make his way into a future teaser on the show, isn't he? Because he turns 37 on Friday.
Does he? Right.
And also scored a couple of goals this season. I think he's got 3 in the league, and he's still showing that he's got what it takes in front of goal. About to turn 37.
37. It's incredible now, isn't it? In our day, 33, you were looking at what your retirement fee was. You were out of there. Now they're 37, 38. Incredible diet.
Craig Gordon, 42.
Sports science, stuff like that.
Has Bakila got that song that fits his name? Bakila.
I would like to think so, given that you've put such a good case for it. Celtic use it for Maeda, don't they?
Yeah.
Bakila fits even better. I really have been delighted, and I feel like because we went early on this, on Claudio Braga, didn't we? We went really early, first week of the season, said we really liked it. I played the clip every time he scores a goal. You're not really on Twitter as such, you two, but it's got real worldwide recognition now. Some Hearts account put it up because there's a great video of the stand at St Mirren behind the goal singing it, and it has gone everywhere. Millions and millions of views, which unfortunately means every patterless club in England is going to steal it and use it to a player that doesn't fit it as good as Claudio Braga. And it was good while it lasted. Annan have equalised, Cammy. That cheers you up.
Good start to the second half for them.
Queen of the South 3, East Fife 0 as well. So we are getting some goals down the leagues as we tick well into the second half across the country. Your teaser's up and running. We're asking you about your Scotland kit. Loads happening.
You were saying about a team from St Mirren and Hibs, weren't you?
It's a very good point. I would suggest within the next
It's amazing.
Nowish, I would say. Yeah.
I just looked at the league table, and the feel-good factor around Stephen Robinson and St Mirren has been sky high since their cup semi-final win. They haven't won any of their last 4 league games.
Yep.
Three losses and 1 draw.
But they'll feel hard done by from the draw. Did you notice the KMI panel yesterday said that the goal that was ruled out against Hearts should have stood? It would have put them 3-1 up at the time. So maybe that's
Is that the one, the Shankland
Yeah,
incident?
the offside.
Yeah, I argued my case there. I thought it was a poor decision. I'm glad I'm proven right.
Yeah, I think everyone just wants that goal to stand, don't they?
Yeah.
Apart from Hearts, but you know what I mean in terms of that gut feeling you get about. Like, is that ever really enough contact? Like, everyone just wants that to stand.
Was that part of the complaint from the man last night who said you had blue tinted specs?
In amongst lots of it that I couldn't quite follow, I think
glossed over
he
it,
did
he
mention
said.
that. But the only slight thing I would mention on it, right? Because I think in this instance, I kind of want that to stand. I think everybody does.
Yep.
But see, in the modern era where blocks of various descriptions are so popular, I do think you're taking a chance if you're trying to block from an offside position, right? Because loads of clubs do it, and they do it quite effectively. And again, this is more of a general point, because I don't think Mark O'Hara really does interfere enough with Shankland. But if he touches his arm a bit more than he did, then that is an offence. Do you know what I mean? So when clubs are working these blocks, then they're very cute, and you're almost exploiting the rules a bit, and I think that's good, that's clever, that's creative. But I do think you take a chance if you do that from an offside position.
Yeah, listen, you're always taking a chance if you're in an offside position, and you could be technically interfering with play. But again, when you look at that one, for me, that was a really poor decision. I think Daz said you called it at the time, and I just can't see. There's been a number of mistakes this season. I think there's been a lot recently that's starting to get highlighted, whether it's on-field decisions or going to VAR. I think it's been quite a poor season for the referees so far.
Because the much discussed Austin trustee Jack Butland, that was viewed as a mistake by the KMI panel as well yesterday, but by 2-1. So there was a bit more of a debate by the looks of it surrounding that one, rather than the St Mirren and Hearts one. And again, though, I mention it every time because I do think people maybe still don't quite know. This is not the official Scottish FA judgment. This is a separate panel. This is the panel that was brought about because previously everybody complained that the refs or the Scottish FA were marking their own homework. So they said, well, let someone else take a look at it. But now it becomes gospel when it suits you, and dismissed when it doesn't. You know, you can say,
I mean, they have no powers to do anything.
Of course, Hugh, it's made up of ex-footballers or like media types. It's
so what's the point of it?
So I was about to say that I don't think it's affecting the decision. I think the decisions are continuously being poor at the moment.
But that's the thing, though.
So it's not actually making any difference at all.
But I think you've got to then have a realistic expectation of what it could possibly do. Like I said, it was brought in as an exercise to say, look, we're not marking our own homework. We're going to let people independently just give an opinion on what it is. You know, bit more scrutiny on the decisions. But like, I do think it's become counterproductive.
I think it fans the flames.
Yeah,
you know,
it kind of feels that way because, like I said, when people want to, they hold it up.
Yeah,
like it's gospel, and they go, look at this. The KMI panel say we've been wronged 4 times this season.
Yeah,
but then when it doesn't suit you and the decision goes the other way, you say, it's just the KMI panel. Who are they? You know, it's just the 3. So
if you have no powers, then it's a talking shop, and that's it.
Yeah. Again,
we'd be better doing it on a Saturday.
Yeah. We
that
don't
could
know.
be our new job
For
3 of you in here.
Yeah.
We don't know if the referees take any notice at this at all.
They won't. But see, to be fair, I also don't necessarily think they should. I don't know if that's the point of it. I don't know.
So then it's
they must take some learnings from it.
They've got to.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
They certainly should take some learnings. Whether they can discuss internally whether they think it's right or wrong, but we're going with the laws of the game is completely different. But I feel like we're in a period at the moment that I feel there is a lot of poor decisions getting made.
But I think what does at least show that it's independent, though, because like I said, there was always the accusation of, well, we don't care if you say that it's right because you would say that. So now this is other eyes that are looking on it.
and the stats will be different that they were presenting, because I remember the first season they were presenting stats that were really, really high, and everyone was like, whoa, where are you getting them stats from? As you say, they're marking their own homework, so you're pretty much making them stats up yourself. So the stats at this moment in time will be completely different.
And what proves that is because obviously we do the VAR review once a month, and Willie Collum, if you've ever watched it, if you've ever put yourself through it, you'll find that there are loads of decisions that the KMI panel feel are one thing, but Willie Collum feels are the other. Because again, it's the word that someone took great offence at me using the word subjective the other night, but it just is what it is. Like for a lot of these, there's no, we're never going to change that. VAR, no VAR. I get 10 refs, one ref.
I'm totally accepting the subjective ones and the ones that that are a 2-1 and stuff. I get that, but there's certainly been ones this season that we're all bamboozled of how the referees and VAR have came to that decision.
But that sentence is subjective, right? Because depending who you speak to this week, people genuinely look at social media, listen to calls in places like this. You will hear things that you'll hear people say that they feel that Rangers one does come into that. They'll say it's mind-blowing, bamboozling, baffling, cannot believe that Nick Walsh hasn't sent off Austin Trusty. Unthinkable, worst decision I've ever seen. The KMI panel goes 2-1. Right? So it shows you that it clearly is that subjectivity, but some people would have you believe that it's impossible to imagine the other viewpoint on it.
Yeah. But you go back to the Shankland one in the build-up at Ibrox. It's a handball. Yes, and again, I just can't see how VAR don't intervene in that situation and don't give it as a handball. So they're the ones that I look at, and Trusty one, yes, for me it is a red card.
By the way, every pundit we've had on said they thought it was a red card.
Totally, I think it's a red card, and purely on the basis that he pulls his leg away first and then goes back in for it. I think it is endangering the opponent. So I think that's a red card, but there's other ones that I look at and you break down, and I think that how did they come to that decision? I really do.
Sure, but on that one, because it's been the big one this week, I'll repeat it for anybody that thinks you're trying to play down. Every panellist we've had on thinks it's a red.
Yep.
Nick Walsh didn't, Stephen McLean didn't, whoever this one guy is on the KMI panel didn't. So I think we've got to be careful that whilst you can disagree with mistakes, when it is subjective, you can't then act as if it's like cast iron, 100% mistake, worst thing we've ever seen, because that's the language that sort of seeps in, and I don't think it does anyone any favours.
No, I totally agree, but we're trying to get better. We're trying to get away from all these really controversial decisions, and you'll always have talking points, and it is subjective, but I just feel as if there's ones that, again, I'm pretty sure 90% of the people will agree with. Look, that is a red card, and you'll have that 10% that are sitting there and maybe saying it's not. But yeah, listen, it's a difficult one, but I just feel as if this season there's been a lot of really controversial decisions, should I say.
I'm not sure it's any more than other seasons.
Do you not think?
I also think,
I think it's highlighted at this moment in time.
That's the point though, because the way football is, or society, social media, whatever, the level of scrutiny on everything is the most it's ever been by definition. And next year the level of scrutiny probably goes up and up.
Yeah.
Well, and then obviously you've got the supply and demand nature of what the fixture is, because we're talking about the Austin Trusty. If that happens between Falkirk and Livy today, kidding me on? How many calls who's speaking? Who speaks about it?
I totally agree. It is the magnitude of the fixture, so I get that. But there's been other games out with what the Old Firm are involved in that there's been decisions that I would say have been really poor as well.
But people won't talk about them as much, and will never get the whole sort of, because so if Rangers issue a statement, it carries a lot of weight. You imagine that happens today and Falkirk issue a statement and say we want it just doesn't have the same impact because of the size of the clubs here.
No, and I totally appreciate that, and I do get it.
Here's one for you.
Big goal.
Flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
You had a sneaky feeling they would manage it. They were 1 down, but St Johnstone are in front. It's Dunfermline 1, St Johnstone 2. Liam Smith, he's fired the cutback from Rhys McAleer, who scored the first, so he's had a good afternoon, setting up the second, high into the net from 12 yards out. 66 minutes gone. St Johnstone showing why they're top of that table,
and the Partick Thistle paying the price of last night's draw. if St Johnstone turn that scoreline into a final result, they will then go 5 points away from Partick Thistle. So last night could be costly for Mark Wilson and Alec.
Not really, Hugh. They've got them next game at home. So even if St Johnstone, there's still a bit of time in that game. Lenny will fancy getting back into it. And if even St Johnstone win it, they go to Firhill in 2 weeks. 5 points, Partick win that. All of a sudden it's game on. I still think it's too early, 5 points.
St Johnstone win it, 8 points.
Yeah, well done.
So,
right. That's the draw.
5 points.
It's a massive game that though coming up. Looking forward to it in a couple of weeks' time. That Partick Thistle. No. You're not looking forward to it?
No. He'll probably invite me again. The amount of knockbacks I've gave him was incredible.
Let's check in that teaser, Hugh. We've not really helped the listeners out yet in trying to eliminate some wrong answers.
I have made appearances for 5 different English teams before playing for a current Scottish Premiership side. I've been managed by Gary Rowett and Alan Stubbs. I've played alongside Chris Clark and Alan Gow, and I've won the Scottish Cup and the Scottish Championship. Who am I?
Okay, it's a good question. I wonder how you're finding it so far. We always do the wrong answers to help you along. Dalziel has gone for one of Cammy's teammates for the Masters next week, Martin Waghorn.
Nope.
Marco wants to throw in Scott Arfield.
No.
A few have done that actually. Craig Meikle as well. Loads of good names here. Dylan thinks it's our very own Marvin Bartley.
No.
And Scott O'Neill thinks it could be Jamie Murphy.
Think again.
Okay, Gordon DL, you...
I'm struggling.
Yeah, I thought you might actually in this one.
Yeah, I'm struggling. To be fair, I was too engrossed in the debate you and Cammy were having for 10. I loved it.
You're more than welcome to contribute.
No,
Yeah,
I loved it. I loved the fact that Cammy was just digging a hole deeper and deeper for himself, which we didn't want to dig him out, but it was but it was a great debate.
Alloa are 2 up away at Montrose now. Callum Burnside with the goal in that one. What a game in the Highlands. Where's Dave Galloway when you need him? Ross County 3, Ayr 3. Curtis Main with the goal. I think I said it was over at 3-1 maybe, or I suggested it could have been.
Well, I don't think they're over at 3-3.
No.
That's a sensational comeback from Scott Brown's team. And again, Roy McGregor's looking at Callum Davidson and Tony Docherty and thinking, what are you doing?
That's an incredible afternoon. Curtis Main with the goal. Still 26 goals within the first 70 minutes.
Brilliant.
It's good going.
What a game that is.
Love it. The Championship's good league.
Brilliant
Standard,
league.
good
Brilliant.
goals, good excitement.
Good value that.
Yeah.
Stenhouse Muir 0, Kelty Hearts 2. Rico Diak with his second. Kelty needed a result there. They've been struggling a bit. And have you noticed the managerial situation there?
No.
Scottish football always just delivers the kind of mad stories. So Michael Tidser,
Yeah.
former Kelty manager,
Went to Dunfermline. He's back there.
as the number 2
To who?
to Tam O'Ware.
Oh my goodness.
Incredible. He left Montrose, didn't he?
Left Montrose, was away playing at Montrose. Went back to being a player at Montrose.
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
So he's
And-
went manager, player, assistant manager.
Yes, at the club that he used to manage successfully, by the way,
Yeah,
as well.
yeah.
He was a good Kelty
Not
manager.
belong as a kit man. We've all been there. We've all fallen down that ladder. Don't worry about that.
Fraser Wishart's trying to, I think he's trying to annoy you more than ever. He's
Fraser Wisher annoys me just listening.
No, but he's urging me to update people on the rugby score.
Scotland's not beating the All Blacks.
To be fair, if Scotland are playing the All Blacks, I think we can make exceptions. They're back in it. It's 17-14 to New Zealand. It's tight.
Yep. No interested, Daz?
Nah, mate. I just it's
penalty in it. That's all. That's the only difference between the sides so far.
Doesn't it float my boat?
It'd
15
be good if
minutes.
Scotland beat the All Blacks, for goodness sake.
No.
History making, no?
You're not going to walk out here and phone people. You'll never guess what. Scotland won the day they won. They beat the All Blacks.
Some people will.
Let's meet down the local. Celebrate it. I'd rather watch Strictly Come Dance.
Yeah.
Never mind.
You're an All Blacks Scotland sort of excites you, Hugh?
I wouldn't open the curtains if they were in the garden.
Oh, come on.
I sort of agree with you in that. And we're not a great rugby fans Don't get me wrong, it's exciting if you are, but
I would go with Mark Wilson and
For a
Leanne
freebie.
for the good freebie. I'd give that a bit of a see into.
yeah. What
No, mic off. I've turned your mic off. Don't trust you. Absolutely not. There are certain things I'll let you away with at 10 to 8 midweek. You do not get away with those things at 4:30 on a Saturday afternoon. Absolutely not. Dumbarton 2, Annan Athletic 1. Tony Wallace with the goal. I'm afraid to tell Cammy your team losing at the moment. Don't forget, we're still asking for your answers to that second half teaser. Still asking you as well, how do you rate the new Scotland strip that was released this week, and what's the best and worst we've ever had? Just a bit of a quieter day, and try to get your thoughts on some of the topics that have been doing the rounds this midweek. I don't know about this. Craig Neal sent his favourite, and maybe it's because I associate this with a particularly unhappy era for Scotland. It looks match worn as well. Remember, that's pure Bertie Vogts. Remember the Diadora number? Sort of white
horrible.
bit across the shoulder and the badge in the middle and the number.
Number 20.
Do you think that's match worn or something?
Yeah,
Maybe
it
that's
must
why
be.
Craig likes it.
Not a lot you can do with a kind of dark blue jersey, though, is there?
I don't know. There are a few variations over the. I think the problem we've got is the breast one was probably the one that we released for the anniversary last year.
Yeah.
Remember?
Oh, that was
That was
the limited
Excellent.
edition one. That was brilliant.
Did you buy one of them?
I actually didn't at the time, no, and
I'm
I think they
surprised with
sold
that.
out quite quickly.
Okay, then I'll rephrase that. Did you get one a freebie?
I was almost about to ask that.
Yeah, the freebie.
Actually, didn't.
Of course he did.
Yeah.
think if you
Did you buy one? No.
I don't.
Freebie doesn't answer.
I don't own one of those, if that's what you're asking.
Oh, okay.
I think a few Chinese websites might have taken a. Not that I would ever
No.
promote that, but they was. I think they were in high demand at the time. There's another one. Lemon Curry sent in the worst. He says, "Yeah, that the Fila pinstripe. That again, that's pure Voked again, is it not?
That's
the Fila
horrible.
pinstripe
Yeah,
number. That was not great.
Horrible.
You associate that with some bad results as well. And
You can just see like Christian Daly in that one almost.
Lemon's gone the worst away. Remember the pink effort, so end of Gordon Strachan sort of failing to qualify for that last tournament. Where were we away in Slovenia or Slovakia or something? Darren Fletcher, James MacArthur type.
Yep.
Bit too pink.
Yeah.
That's horrible.
Okay. Well, this was supposed to be a nice positive discussion about the best ones, but in true Scottish football fashion, it's easier to moan about what things you don't like. What have we got here? Adeloy, great chance, saved by McAdams. Morton still one up on Arbroath.
Yep.
Could turn into a very
Good
successful
result for
afternoon,
Morton, yeah.
given the way Arbroath have started. They were third before we kicked the ball today, weren't they?
Yeah, flying high. Cammy gave me all their stats at 2 o'clock today, so I fancied Morton. I went for Morton in my prediction, didn't I? Yeah.
We do have team lineups for St Mirren against Hibs, so let's have a look. I can't immediately tell you how many changes that is from last week's semi-final because my brain doesn't work fast enough, but not many. Liam Donnelly has come in to the team for St Mirren, so Shamal George in goal, Marcus Fraser, Richard King, Miguel Freckleton, they're all still in there. Richardson, that successful midfield duo, Phillips and Bacchus. Liam Donnelly into there as well. Declan John, of course, providing width on the left, and Dan Lundaloo, the hand and goal hero, alongside the other hand and goal hero, Mikael Mandron up front. So not too many changes there. On the bench, Mullen, Tanser, Taylor, McNeneman, Idowu, Dykesteel, Calvin, Ayunga and Mooney. So it's a strong looking St Mirren team, and clearly looking to harness that feel good factor from last weekend. Hugh, not too many alterations.
No, as I say, no wins in the last 4 league games, and we've been talking about crowds all afternoon. I expect a terrific crowd at Paisley as well, because Hibs will bring enough to fill that stand behind one goal, and the St Mirren fans will still be ecstatic over the result against Motherwell last weekend. So big crowd, potential for a really terrific game of football, and it's the feel good factor versus a team who need a result.
Oh, and Hibs have done that thing where they line them up in number order, and it makes life much more difficult.
Is Bowie playing?
Yes.
There's a question.
So Salinger in goal, a back three of Iredale, Hanley and Bashiri. The Cadden twins in both the wing back roles, a midfield of Burlaser, Mulligan, and then Boyle off Bowie. Yeah, if I miss it, but McGrath's in there as well. I knew it was one short, so McGrath in midfield and Boyle and Bowie up top.
Bowie left out the Scotland squad on the back of a horrendous run for a striker who has gone a dozen games and not scored. So he needs to find these shooting boots and Paisley.
He needs to get in the box, Hugh. That's the problem with him. I think
he's everywhere, isn't he?
I think he's a decent enough player. I think he works hard for a team. I totally understand that. His job first and foremost is to put the ball in the back of the net, and you can probably do that a lot better if you're in that 18-yard box waiting for the crosses coming in.
I totally agree. When you watch him, he's actually doing a little bit too much, trying to come back, get the ball, and becoming too deep. So yeah, I agree. He needs to get closer to the box and become that focal striker.
Yeah, and Hibs have got the potential from the wide areas to put good quality.
I think he's only 9 without a goal, Hugh. You've done him in a bit too much
in all competitions.
Yeah, I think so, because he scored that. Remember the Dundee United 3-3 draw, and in fact one of them was the Scotland appearance as well. So I think it'd be 8 for Hibs. Anyway, he clearly wants to score more than he is at the moment, and as you say, left out the Scotland squad, replaced by Lawrence Shankland. I don't think anyone would argue, would they?
How could you? I mean, the goals that he's scoring this season, different class. I don't know whether it's this new dietitian that he's found and losing weight, like John McGinn hiring his own personal chef, a boy for Clydebank with his own personal chef.
We were actually speculating a bit about this the other night on the show. I don't know if you heard it. So John McGinn's just signed a new contract at Aston Villa. He's the club captain there. He's a bit of a legend down there, and we were wondering if now with that new contract he's overtaken you as Clydebank's richest citizen.
Oh, it'll be touch and go. Touch and go, I would say.
Depends once you start dipping into those pensions you've got all over the place.
Touch and go, not a chance. You'll get more lolly than him.
Great story though, Cammy, isn't it? Like, you played with him at Hibs.
Yeah.
I know people know the story, but I think it's easy to forget and overlook. Moves from Hibs for a small fee, couple of million, to Aston Villa in the Championship. He's club captain, Champions League. Look at where he is in Scotland caps and goal scoring lists. What was that? His 300th game for Villa the other night. It's an unbelievable tale.
Incredible. He's an incredible player, but again, he's a brilliant person as well. He never forgets where he's come from, and listen, he took that opportunity to go down south. Again, we've seen many players playing in the top flight up here and not taking that opportunity. He went down there. He lives and breathes that club now and absolutely loves it, and he fully deserves that extra extension to his contract, because he's such a big figure still for Aston Villa and such a big player for them. So full credit to him. He's had a wonderful time since he moved south.
You just need to read the comments from the Aston Villa fans when the contract's announced. He's proper like modern day legend stuff.
Absolute hero down there. Again, I've been a couple of John's fortunately given me tickets to go and see him a couple of times at games. You always take the freebies, you know that, Gordon. But again, you're in the crowd with the guys, the fans, especially when you're away from home at an away game, and you feel the love for him. He's absolutely loved at that club.
Yeah, really good story, and not over yet, because that new contract handed out to him this week.
Other people in Clydebank have their own personal dietitian. Nando's, it's called.
It's Greg's. See, when you go over to that shopping centre, it's prolific.
I know.
Honestly, I always thought that kids needed a dummy when they were upset, but it seems to be it's a sausage roll.
Yes.
Just get the job done. But I thought you were going to say there are other people in Clydebank that rival you and John McGinn for the richest citizens.
Well, maybe Stephen McGinn,
Kevin Bridges, he
Kevin,
throws his name into the hat. What have we got here? There we go. Scotland's number one. He's made a save from Robbie Muirhead. Scott Bain straight at him, but
time running out for Big Marv. It's running out.
Yeah, well, VAR, everything. Good 10, 15 still to go.
Do you think they've got a goal in them?
Yeah. I believe in Marv. Don't know why, but I just think there's a goal
there
there.
is a little bit of pressure, says David Friel.
I'd love to see Marv on debate night.
He tells me he's knocked back the approach before.
Right.
Says, yeah.
Okay.
Don't know if it was meant to tell everybody that, but whatever, it's done now. He'll not be listening. David Martindale did well on it. Seemed to go down.
Oh yeah,
go down well amongst the public.
Did you watch it, Hugh?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Did you?
Did you not?
He came across.
I was watching the trailers.
He's such a straightforward man, you ask him a straightforward question, you get a straightforward answer. Everyone knows his backstory, and the politicians on the panel will just look and say, I wouldn't have said that.
Just in case, right? I'd be surprised now, just in case there are any stragglers. Don't spoil it, just in case. But were you happy with celebrity traitors? That's what I need to know.
Outstanding.
Because you're one of the biggest fans.
Outstanding.
I know it really makes your night.
Loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Were you tense being the edge of your couch?
It was brilliant. It was brilliant. I've got to say, it's one of the only shows that is on my bucket list. I want to go on that.
The celebrity version?
Well, no, I'm not.
I think
celeb.
you might need to go in the civilian version.
Yeah, well, I'm quite happy with that.
Go on then. Right, seriously, can we?
I would love to go on that.
Enter them.
Why don't? Surely we can fill out an application.
Let me tell you now, nobody's second guessing me.
I can believe you pulled the wool over people's eyes in your past. By the way, let's do that.
Let's get a wedding ring on.
Let's make that. Let's make that like a Super Scoreboard campaign. I'm getting the application form right now for you. And do you know what? You could do that thing where you know, some of the contestants that go on it, they always hide their sort of true occupation for some unknown reason. So you could go in and say that you're, I don't know, a surgeon or something. Well, yeah, go on then. Don't tell any of the English audience that you're a
paint and decorator,
a well-known radio figure.
I'm not well.
But all the Man City fans will know you straight away.
I know, my fame will kill me. Yeah, that'll kill me.
I think we should. I'm looking it up right now. Traitor.
There's only Guardiola and then DL after that, isn't it?
Hugh, I love the programme. I'd love to be on it. I think I'd play a good game.
I'm worried that you've probably missed the boat for
the next one.
Yeah, because it starts in January, does it not? 20. No, hold on. It is application.
Get me down. Get me down.
I think I can see an application form here actually. Right, I'll do that.
Love to get in that, man. But
imagine you on there.
I don't. But the thing is, right? Everybody think I'd be a traitor because by nature I'm.
You don't say.
That's the problem.
By nature I am.
so I boosted right away.
No, hold on. Series 5 filming summer autumn 2026. I think I'll get you in for that closing date 31st of May.
Right,
perfect. Let me look at the application.
Are you available?
Form.
Yeah.
Well, especially over the summer. We don't need you in here in the summer. Apart from the World Cup if we get there.
I'd love to be in there. Well, I'd love to go to that castle and big cars. They look good. And the food. Huh.
So what? So
and the wine.
You have to fill out a form which says why you want to be a traitor or a faithful. So can I do this for you? Can I just in my own words?
But hold on, what are you putting me down as? Obviously, I'm a traitor.
Male. I'll stick you down as male.
Right, okay.
It's a good start.
But do you get the tick the box traitor or faithful?
Nah, you're just gonna write a little blurb about yourself. Oh no, you do. Yeah.
I think if I put faithful, I'd be a bit cheeky.
Yeah.
If given the choice, would you choose to be a traitor or a faithful?
Yeah,
traitor. Okay, why? Whilst we've asked for your preference, please note, if selected, we'll determine in our sole discretion who will be a traitor or a faithful. I'm going to write here a lifetime of lying.
Yeah.
Lifetime of lying, 4 exclamation marks. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And just leave it at that. No more required.
Yeah, I'm on.
Right, I'll let you know if they email me back. East Kilbride 2, Stirling Albion 0. Connor Young with the goal there. That should be the points for East Kilbride. Scott Allen's East Kilbride, as we call them. Are Spartans still drawing? No?
Still drawing, yeah.
So it could be East Kilbride making up some.
And if Spartans score, I'm going to have a good Saturday night.
Please gamble responsibly.
Yeah, I mean a real good Saturday night.
Yeah.
Hugh, what about that teaser then? Maybe we should. Yeah, do you know what? We'll just round it off completely.
Okay.
The second half teaser
with the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
The man who made appearances for 5 different English teams before playing for our current Scottish Premiership club and was managed by Gary Rowett, Alan Stubbs, and played alongside Chris Clark and Alan Gow. Also won the Scottish Cup and the Scottish Championship. I thought Dazzler.
I got it.
Alan Stubbs would have given it to you. Sir David Gray.
David Gray, well done if you got it right. There was a real mix of answers there. It caught a few of you out, but loads of you did get on board. So well done to third place in the podium, Henke Scales Moravchik. Second place, Sean Grantham. And the winner was Connor McNair. Very tricky because David Gray Had a couple of loan spells down in England, played for some lower league clubs, and then of course we got to know him a bit better when he came up here to Hibs. And you might have heard that he won the Scottish Cup, which was part of the clue there that Hugh gave you. So well done, David Gray, Sir David Gray, depending where you're from. And Conor McNair was the winner. It took you a while there, Gordon, not like you to be so.
Yeah, I just had it in my head right at the end.
I said Kelty Hearts needed a win earlier and were looking like they were going to get one, but Stenhousemuir have equalised in the final minutes. Neil Lennon runs onto the pitch, grabs the ball to get a ball to quickly give it back to his team. He's asked politely by the ref to get back to his clarity. He went on quite a refereeing rant. Was it last week, the week before? Did you see it?
Yeah, I've seen it.
My word, it was like he's now been booked.
Surprise.
It was old school. Did you see it?
Was that when he mentioned that the referee would never referee one of his games?
It was an abomination of a performance. He said they need to understand the rules. My young team needs to understand the rules of the game, because we're not getting taught them by refs, that's for sure. This guy cost me a goal against Partick Thistle. I don't know how he keeps missing opportunities. We're getting done by refs, particularly this one, and I've asked the head of referees, I don't want him refereeing any of our games again.
Wow. Yeah.
Well, that request has to be thrown out straight away, because the head of referees can't have managers choosing who referees games.
I actually wondered if we would if there would be some hot water heading Neil Lennon's way for those comments, but I don't know, I think the time has come and gone, so maybe not. He's given the ref a thumbs up on this occasion, though. He's accepting his booking.
That's sarcasm, though.
And on we go. Do you think the rules will need to evolve, because you're not allowed to sarcastically clap referees, are you? What about the old sarcastic thumbs up? Might need to adapt for the modern ways. Right, will we get any late drama? Is there a Livingston equaliser in this?
I don't think there is.
No.
Yeah, I'm going to stick to my guns. I think there's a goal. Set play, throw everybody up, goalkeeper, big Marv on the lot, wee Davy on his shoulders, ball into the box, header, goal.
They've got a free kick out wide
there you
just
go.
now.
Here it comes.
Here we go.
Can you see it?
Yep, I can see it. We've still got time.
Keeper's not up though.
Is he not?
Too early.
Well, it shows you there's still time to go. They'll throw everything at it.
This would be a massive result for Falkirk if they manage to get. No way.
It's the shout of the century. He's done it. Danny Wilson, close range header. Falkirk 1, Livingston 1.
Oh, there you go. There you go. I had faith in the big man. I could see it. I could see it working out. I could see it there. Everybody up.
89th minute.
Oh dear. Oh, Big Mar will be insufferable,
because there's a bit of needle between those sides as well.
Yeah.
Davy Martindale and John McGlynn, no love lost at all between those two.
They don't like each other
from last season. Marvin told us the other night there was even a bit of pushing and shoving in the tunnel and stuff
like that.
Yeah, so
there
we go.
Some shout that does.
That's great drama though. And do you know what? Livy probably needed that, because they've conceded late goals themselves a few times, haven't they?
Has it been
in recent weeks? When you go back to the of course, I mean, maybe they're now making a habit of it, because they scored the 90th minute penalty last week against
Hibs.
VAR?
Any VAR intervention?
Nothing yet. I was thinking of the Motherwell game when they collapsed late on, and I think there was a couple of others early. And of course, Rangers, Max Aaron scored in the last minute as well. Then Dundee scored in the last minute to beat them. So they've started to be the ones doing the damage late on. 4 minutes added, the goal stands, but 4 minutes to go. Could we get even more?
I think the drama's over. Big Marv's get everybody behind the ball.
So they go on to 8 points, Libby, 1 away from second bottom Dundee.
Yeah, big goal that. Hold on a second, I think we've got another big goal as well. Just waiting for confirmation. Yes, I think we do.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Dunfermline 2, St Johnstone 2. Mark Wilson stood up at Murrayfield and cheered it, because Partick Thistle fans will be happy. Dunfermline are level. It's Andy Todd. The Todds are doing great things this season. 91st minute, shot from the edge of the box, deflected, goalkeeper goes the wrong way, and the league leaders St Johnstone have been pegged back. Dunfermline 2, St Johnstone 2.
Is Lenny doing the airplane celebration? Maybe just to really annoy the referee and the assistant referee. But compensation for Partick Thistle. They drew last night. St Johnstone look as if they're going to draw this afternoon. No harm done.
So that's another great game, isn't it? We thought St Johnstone had maybe gone and won it.
Yeah, again, brilliant for Dunfermline to get that late goal, just to get the equaliser. The thumbs up from Lenny to the referees obviously worked and G'd up his players. But yeah, we knew it was going to be a close game because there are two teams that are in good form. Both teams are in good form. So yeah, it's a big goal for Lenny, I would say.
A great story. Andy Todd as well, doing good things this season, and that could be a very important goal late on.
So Falkirk still go third in the table, but not in the manner in which they had hoped.
No, and I suppose Hibs have the chance to respond this evening then, don't they?
Yeah.
Yep.
Don't even have to wait till tomorrow for that one, albeit loads of other teams involved. The full-time whistles are starting to go. So Queen's Park 2, Wraith Rovers 1 as an example. Good. Queen's Park needed a win.
Yeah, especially after the thumping last week from March. Partick Thistle 5-0 away from home. They needed to get back on track. That was a difficult game. Went one behind. Good result for the lads at it's not Lesser Hampden, Gordon, is it? What's it called?
Well, it has an official name, which
I just call it Lesser Hampden. I'm going old school.
Yeah,
Jim Duffy and the lads there. Good result.
Is it the City Facilities? Is it the City Stadium? That's what it's called. Yeah,
City Stadium.
The City Stadium. And yeah, good win that, because it was certainly one that was needed. Are we going to get any late drama anywhere else? We are nearly there. You would imagine the Premiership tie usually.
I mean, it's almost
behind.
Almost 5 o'clock.
Don't forget though, once these full-time whistles go, we are looking for you to get in touch. So whatever it is that's on your mind, if it's today's football, absolutely fine. The late kick-off, or I suspect for most of you tomorrow, give us a call. I wonder about you Celtic fans. Is this Martin O'Neill's last game in charge? I'm looking for you to give me a Hugh Keevins style prediction. Do you think tomorrow is the last time we'll see Martin O'Neill in charge of Celtic? Give us your answer and your thinking on the phones. Rangers fans, there's loads for you to get through as well. We've got a full-time whistle at Capello, Tom.
Yeah, thanks Gordon. We actually had a bit of action here, but it was left right until the end. Dougie Emery's Greenock Morton side claim all 3 points for just their second win of the season as they beat a pretty lacklustre Arbroath here at Capello 1-0. As mentioned at half time, it was a game of very few chances, which is counter to how it started, as with both sides having decent efforts within the first quarter of an hour. You hoped you could see some goals here. It wasn't to be, however. If there was a goal to win a match, Morton's one on 31 minutes wasn't a bad one to pay the admittance fee alone. Good work down the right by winger Owen Moffat, who fired in a delicious cross, and big centre half Chris Moore stretched out his right leg, caught it on the sweet spot, and it flew past McAdam in the Arbroath goal. After that, the momentum turned in the game. Before that, it had been Arbroath who had enjoyed most of the ball, but the home side could have gone in at the break 2 to the good when Cammy McPherson put his free kick just wide of the near post. The best thing that can be said about the second half is that Morton looked confident, which is credit to them considering they have gone 9 of 13 games. Tommy Adeloy showed some neat footwork to get himself free, but went down before getting away a shot. He was claiming for a penalty, but referee Peter Stewart was having none of it. Coming into this one and having not seen too much of Arbroath this term, I was hoping for goals, but there wasn't any evidence to say why they put 3 past Ross County last week. Substitute Nikolai Todorov did have a header save for Arbroath before Morton went down the other end and wasted a double chance. First Adeloy was 1-on-1 with the keeper. He couldn't find a way past. Then substitute Nathan Shaw received a cutback, goal at his mercy, cleared off the line by Arbroath captain O'Brien. It did threaten to break out onto a football match right at the end. First, Arbroath players were surrounding the referee, screaming for a penalty for a high boot following a corner. It wasn't given. Morton broke through. I'm not making this up. 2 players against the keeper, but Zach Mackay didn't square it, chose to shoot, which the keeper saved, and then from the resulting melee, Garrity had the ball in the net, but it was offside. Both dugouts had some words after that one, and they weren't pleasant. With the way the results have panned out, both teams remain in their respective league positions, are both in 3rd and Morton in 7th. But the main headline here is 3 points for Dougie Emery on what's been an emotional weekend for him. It finishes Morton 1, Arbroath 0.
And our only existing Premiership game this afternoon, Falkirk Livingston, is finished. Here's David Friel.
Full time, Gordon, Falkirk 1, Livingston 1. Falkirk do move up to third place as things stand, but let's be honest, this draw will feel like a defeat. Brian Graham's penalty had the Bairns on the verge of 3 points before Danny Wilson levelled right at the death. 89 minutes on the clock, the big Livingston centre half headed into the corner to basically kill the Falkirk party. It was a sore one for John McGlynn's side. They were on the verge of burying that hoodoo against Livy. They never beat Livy, they hadn't won in 5 games against them, and that run now stretches to 6. But forget about Falkirk for a second, credit to David Martindale's side. Livingston never gave up and they will feel they were good value for the point. Graham's penalty opener came in 16 minutes. Stevie May handled a Calvin Miller corner. Ref Grant Irvin didn't spot it, but VAR Nick Walsh did. He told him to go and have a look. He pointed to the spot and Brian Graham's penalty was perfect as he found the corner. Livy did have decent openings. Lewis Smith threatened, Mo Salah also threatened, but Falkirk were always lively. Ethan Williams, Kyrell Wilson, Calvin Miller, all very good. Williams came closest just before the break. Chances were really scarce in the second half, but Livingston were always in the game, they always carried a threat. Jerome Prior did have to be his best and deny Kyrell Wilson after his shot took a deflection, but there was a lot of action up the other end, and Livy's best chance before the equaliser came from Jeremy Bokila, who was found by Christian Montano but scooped over the bar from about 8 yards. Robbie Muirhead was thrown on by David Martindale. He had a header saved by Scott Bain as Livy pressed for the equaliser. You wondered if it would come. 7,000 Falkirk fans hope it wouldn't, but it did finally arrive in 89 minutes. Graham Carey was on for the free kick duty, whipped in a brilliant ball. Danny Wilson beat his marker and headed into the bottom corner to deny Scott Bain that clean sheet ahead of his Scotland recall. So agony for Falkirk, but a well deserved point probably in the end for Livingston. Full time, Falkirk 1, Livingston 1.
Good drama towards the end of that one, a share of the spoils. What about East End Park? A great game between Dunfermline and St Johnstone, as witnessed by Fraser Wishart.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this one. Gordon, Dunfermline Athletic 2, St Johnstone 2. There was late drama here. Really good. Had better for the championship, to be honest with you. Both teams going toe to toe, some tough tackling. Always something happening. Parks took the lead early on. St Johnstone got 2 goals ahead. To put them one ahead, and they looked like they were going to get all 3 points, but late equaliser by Andy Todd, 91 minutes, ensured a share of the points. The Dunfermline took an early lead and it was deserved on the 8th minute. They started the game well. Matthew Todd whipped in a low cross to the near post from the corner flag on the right hand side, right into the 6-yard box. Barney Stewart at the front post run, flicked it back across the goalkeeper into the net at the far right hand post. And Johnson took a bit of time to get into the game, but then Dunfermline keeper Billy Terrell with a brilliant save from an Adam Sadibi back header, and it was no surprise in the 30th minute when St Johnstone got the equaliser. Rhys McAleer given a free kick, controversially, Pars fans didn't like it, but 25 yards at least out inside right position. He took it and he fired it over the wall and high at the top left hand corner. Keeper no chance. Really good start to the second half at both ends. Morgan Boys had a Gullen corner just over. Liam Smith almost scored, the ball hit him, trickled towards goal, but goalkeeper Terrell got back to save it on the line. At the other end, Toby Stewart with a good save to deny Andrew Todd at his right hand post, and the tempo of the game really lifted for the rest of the 45 minutes. The film a real good spell of pressure, but then Boys had his head in his hands. Another Gullen corner, whipped to the back post again, and again he didn't get good contact on it, and it hit the side net when he should have scored. But then 66 minutes, St Johnstone did take the lead. McAleer again involved, this time with a run to the byline, past a couple of players on the left hand side, cut the ball back to penalty spot, and it was right back Liam Smith who found himself in a really good position, and he fired high into the net. The flow of the game was disrupted a bit by substitutions and injury stoppages. Pars fans getting a bit frustrated. A brilliant low cross on the left hand side at the 88 minutes by sub Rory McLeod right across the 6-yard box from the touchline. No takers, and the Pars fans I think were thinking at that point the game was gone. But 91st minute got a deserved equaliser. Andy Todd looked like his chance had gone as he cut in from the left hand side on the edge of the box, but he managed to get his shot away. It was deflected, a huge deflection, no chance for the goalkeeper who was sent the wrong way. And even after that, both teams going from end to end in stoppage time to try and win the game. So really enjoyed the 90 minutes, share of the points, a fair result, but I think St Johnstone disappointed when you're ahead going to stoppage time to lose a late goal. But Dunfermline, to be fair to them, didn't stop trying till the very, very end. Good 90 minutes here, really enjoyed it. Full time at East End Park, Dunfermline Athletic 2, St Johnstone 2.
And now it's over to you. 0141 951 1025. What is on your mind tonight? Not much football so far today, but by all means, if you do want to reflect on any of those results, please do. I suspect loads of you have got Glasgow's Big 2 on your mind. Disastrous nights on Thursday for different reasons. So how do you look back on that? Celtic fans, will tomorrow be Martin O'Neill's last game in the dugout or not? Give us your prediction and your wish for that. Do you think you will see him for the last time? Will that go on a bit longer? And what would you like the situation to be there in the managerial office for Celtic? What about the game specifically against Kilmarnock tomorrow? The Green Brigade band, of course, as well, for some upcoming fixtures, if you have any thoughts there. And Rangers fans, how do you pick yourselves up? It looked like Danny Rule had found some shoots of recovery, then a couple of defeats, but you are back to the Premiership. That's where those wins have come. Can you find cause for optimism? What would your team look like tomorrow? Is it time to leave Chermiti out from the starting 11, or do you need to persevere? Or are there other tweaks that you would make that you think could make a difference? We've got a big kick-off between St Mirren and Hibs within the next hour as well, and so much more. Give us a call, 0141 951 1025, and we will speak to you next.
What's on TV? The answer is a lot. There's never been more choice over what to put on the box with an abundance of great new shows, but you can miss them all if you don't know where to look. And that's where the Pilot TV podcast comes in, your essential guide to every show that matters. Each week we sift through the very best in prestige TV to help you decide what's worth spending your time on and what isn't. So join me, James Dyer, as well as venerable TV critics Boyd Hilton and Kay Ribeiro, and let us help take the stress out of your downtime. The Pilot TV podcast, because you can't watch everything.
Are you one of the 1.5 million UK customers that have used MedExpress for your healthcare journey? If not, accessing treatments for sexual health is now easier than ever. You don't need to visit your GP or pharmacy. Just complete a short online consultation to find the right treatment for you. We'll send your treatment directly to your door, delivered to you in discreet packaging with ongoing support from our experienced UK-based medical team. Take the first step towards managing your health concerns with confidence. Visit medexpress.co.uk to learn more.
This season, I want to see us have a real shot. Want to see us at full strength. Want a bench that gives us options. Want to get some momentum. Want to do it on a cold, wet night in November. Want to be top at Christmas. Want to beat them on Boxing Day. Want to go ahead in January. Want to put the league table on the group. Want to hear them say, can they do it this year? Want to listen to their doubters. Want to prove them all wrong. Look them in the eye and say, want to bet? Bet Fred. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
I'm Professor Noel Fitzpatrick, and as a vet, I know you want the best care for your animal companion. Pet insurance can help, but you need to choose wisely as not all policies are the same. Pet Plan aim to pay claims quickly and without a fuss, and that's one reason why so many vets work with them.
Get your pet the best veterinary care. Save 10% on new policies when you insure at petplan.co.uk. T's and C's apply. Fitz-all Media is an appointed representative of Pet Plan Limited.
It's Clyde One Super Scoreboard's open line, 0141 951 1025.
It is that time on a Saturday where you put your opinions across to the panel. Hugh Keevins, Gordon Dalziel, Cammy Bell waiting for you. And it takes on various forms on a Saturday because traditionally we react to the games that have just happened, but there was only one in the top flight. By all means, if you're a Falkirk or a Livy fan, do get your calls in, but there's a lot of other stuff out there, a lot of other storylines, and never short on drama and talking points, the Scottish game. So what are you thinking, Celtic fans? How do you look back on Thursday? Where does it leave things? Does it bring the managerial situation into sharper focus? To be more specific, do you think tomorrow will be Martin O'Neill's final game in charge as we head into the international break, or will he still be there by the time we come back? Give us your thoughts right now on that. 0141 951 1025. Rangers fans, a lot of negativity in the stadium aimed at Patrick Stewart, Kevin Thelwell. The recruitment's clearly getting it in the neck. What about tomorrow then? Do you do anything different? Do you mix up that team? Are there players that simply have to be left out now? Other players that have to be brought in? How do you feel ahead of the trip to Dundee? Hearts, league leaders, they kick into action tomorrow as well against Dundee United. And we do have a 5:45 kick-off in Paisley between St Mirren and Hibs, so we'll build up to that one. But it's Saturday evening. It is your chance to give us all your thoughts. You've heard enough from us over the last couple of hours, so call us right now, 0141 951 1025. Before we get on to the big talking points, a good day based on the limited card we had today.
Yeah, again, good excitement. Daz called it at the end, right? At the end, Livingston getting that equaliser. Falkirk will be a bit gutted because they led for so long in that game, so they'll be disappointed to give away the late goal from the set piece. And then the Championship as well, some really good games. The Dunfermline St Johnstone game, excellent, loads of goals. So yeah, an exciting day in Scottish football again.
Yeah, it was a quiet day as in terms of fixtures, but you'd still get that excitement, talking points, as Cammy quite rightly pointed out there. You look down the leagues, the Championship, Championship. East Kilbride down, getting a valuable win, while Spartans, top of the league, got a 1-1 draw. You look at Ross County, we were having them, really in trouble, and then all of a sudden a classic up at Dingwall. So plenty of goals, plenty of action, and we look forward to tomorrow.
Yeah, the incentive is there for Hibs. They can go third top if they beat St Mirren and Paisley tonight. A game that I must say I'm really looking forward to. St Mirren want to maintain the feel-good factor created by making the Premier Sports Cup final. So a lot to play for to end their day on a very high note. If Hibs were to win, they would go to within 2 points of Celtic. With the question that you have posed, is tomorrow Martin O'Neill's last game?
Give us your own opinion on it then. So I suppose I'm asking for part prediction and part analysis of what you think the right choice is. So prediction first. Will this be Martin O'Neill's final game in charge of Celtic tomorrow?
I don't think it will be, for the specific reason that I don't think Celtic can get a target like, for example, Kieran McKenna at Ipswich. I don't think he'll leave at this juncture. Craig Bellamy has already said he won't leave Wales. Knutson at Bodo Glimt, still in Europe, don't see him leaving there either. I think Martin O'Neill will stay by default for the time being.
Yeah, I actually think Martin O'Neill will still be in charge as well. I really do. I think at this moment in time, I agree with Hugh, there's probably not that standout candidate that they've went over the line and made sure that that's the one that they want. I don't think they need to be in a particular rush, to be honest. Martin O'Neill's got experience. Sean Maloney's beside him. I think they'll go and win the game tomorrow. Yes, they've had a knockback midweek in Europe, but it's something that I'm pretty sure that Martin O'Neill will be able to deal with going forward. So I think he'll be in charge.
Full house for me, and the reason I'm saying a full house is because of everything Cammy and Hugh have just highlighted there. I think there's an opportunity for Celtic to take a deep breath. Yes, it was disappointing Thursday night, but Martin O'Neill showed domestically, Falkirk, Rangers into final. Sean Maloney's there, he's got a backroom staff that can go and cope with the next few games, give Celtic that bit of time. I keep going back to it, Gordon. Long gone are the days where people just think that Celtic and Rangers just pick their phone up and managers come running. Doesn't happen like that anymore. We know they're massive clubs, so it does take a little bit of time, and it's important, especially for both clubs like Celtic and Rangers at that time with Rangers, that you get the right person in. And Celtic have got that little bit of breathing space with the fact that they're in good hands under a terrific manager, Martin O'Neill.
Obviously, for the avoidance of doubt, I ask now though, because we're heading into an international break, and sometimes these are kind of obvious junctions for clubs to make decisions. You can speculate as to whether defeat in Europe maybe brought things into sharper focus and changed the situation. What if whoever it is though isn't part of that list that you read? And I know that maybe Celtic fans don't have a lot of faith in the recruitment process or whatever, but just because we heard Craig Bellamy, maybe there's something in the background, maybe there's a process ongoing with someone else. I'll change the question now, because I did ask for your prediction first. Do you think Celtic should get a manager in place, or is it fine to leave Martin O'Neill in for games following the break?
I think they should get a manager in place if it's an appropriate choice. Now is not the time to be going out on a limb on someone. Gordon spoke about taking a deep breath. The problem Celtic have is that deep breath becomes throat constriction if you get bad results. And I start with the game against Kilmarnock tomorrow. Any points dropped and the anxiety levels grow among the fans.
The only thing I will say, Gordon, quickly, is it doesn't matter who you're going to bring in. They're going to have the same problems as Martin O'Neill and Sean Maloney's got right now. The injury list to key players is frightening, obviously. Young lad Osmond goes off with a hamstring about for a while, obviously, on Thursday night. That was a bad one for him. But it doesn't matter who it is. He's going to face the same problems just now.
Yeah, but he will then be the permanent manager, and then that brings with it a stability, an ability to plan, a bit of certainty, clarity, all these kind of words that you would use.
There'll absolutely be a process going on, and they'll be working behind the scenes, but I genuinely don't think they need to panic at this moment in time. I think they need to make sure their decision is the right one. It's very, very key that they bring in the right person. So listen, I think they've got a manager in place just now who will be hurting from Thursday night and understand the situation, understand what he needs to do to get more out of that team and them players, and that demand will come from tomorrow. Listen, see if Celtic drop points tomorrow, it all changes. The pressure ramps up massively. But if they go and beat Kilmarnock comfortably, then again I think it almost settles down a little bit. It allows the board time, because I really do. I don't think they need to rush into this. If the target's there that they want to go and get, I would take them.
Well, it's a full house in here, so I wonder how you feel, Celtic fans. Are you in total agreement? Are there any alternative opinions out there? I asked a simple question, just curious, just because we've got an international break now. Will tomorrow be the last time Martin O'Neill manages Celtic? Hugh Keevins says no, it won't be the last time. Cammy Bell agrees, Gordon Dale agrees as well. Is it that straightforward, or is there anyone out there who thinks this might be, who thinks maybe things have changed after the European game, who has some sort of faith that there's just a very quiet process going on in the background with the information being kept behind closed doors? Does anyone think this will be the final chance? And even if you don't, let's hear your agreements with the guys. Maybe you think Thursday night doesn't change anything. Maybe you think Thursday was almost inevitable given the strength of the squad. Maybe it's not a reflection on Martin O'Neill. Maybe you just carry on and try and keep it for a bit longer. You tell us right now, please. 0141 951 1025. If you've got general thoughts on the game. Of course, the Green Brigade are banned at the moment by Celtic as well. There's just so much going on there, so much, because the European game the other night brings the old argument about recruitment back into focus, because it was hard not to watch it and look at some glaring gaps in that Celtic squad. And you Rangers fans, how are you summing it up at the moment? Is it kind of all about recruitment for you? Because I think it's clearly too early for Danny Rule to get criticism. I don't detect much in the way of negativity towards him. Certain players are perhaps need to do more and need to step up, but it feels like the question marks are going to those who bring in the players as well, as we saw by the banners the other night. So a huge afternoon at Dens tomorrow.
Yeah, massive afternoon for Rangers, and it's a difficult place to go. We've already seen Dundee put in some brilliant performances and getting results against the Old Firm this season, so it's a difficult one for the manager to navigate after another disappointing evening in Europe on Thursday. But it's one he needs to go and absolutely win. So the pressure's on. He'll feel that pressure tomorrow, but they need to start the game well. They need to stop conceding soft goals and give themselves a chance to go and win the game. So it's key that I think they get back to trying to keep clean sheets. I said it earlier, I think it's only 5 from 23 games, and that's not good enough for Rangers. They need to get a base and start keeping clean sheets to give themselves an opportunity to win the game.
Yeah, big day for the pair of them. With regard to Celtic, they've got Hearts to come at Celtic Park. If 9 points of a gap were to become 12 points of a gap, were they to lose the cup final to St Mirren, and I fully understand that Celtic could beat Hearts and beat St Mirren, but that would be the good scenario. The bad scenario is you lose further ground to Hearts and lose a second cup final in succession to a non-Old Firm team. There's an awful lot of pressure that could build before the end of this year.
I'm looking at the fixture at Dens, and you look at it and you think you couldn't second guess any of these two teams just now.
No.
I think Cammy made a good point. You look at Dundee, went to Ibrox, positive result, could have won it, beat Celtic at Dens, go to Tynecastle and get absolutely thrashed. Rangers, you think, right, okay, under a new manager, there was a sort of a good feel factor, especially against Hibs at Easter Road, difficult game, went and got that victory they needed, but I just couldn't call that tomorrow.
Brian is a Celtic fan on the line. It is a full house in here, Brian. The panel all think Martin O'Neill's tenure will last beyond tomorrow. What do you think?
Absolutely. Why would you want to get rid of somebody? That was a masterstroke. It was a masterstroke bringing in a man of his ilk. I just wish that he's 20 years younger, because he can. It's not just about what he does in football. It's about how he treats the media, how he treats the fans. He's actually galvanised us from a fractious, and I say this not from a position of entitlement. Other clubs would love to be in the situation Celtic are, and Hugh constantly, we're in a state of distress and all that. That's absolutely rubbish. If you take this in the context of what Celtic are just now, they're a bit fractious. That comes from the fans, it comes from the players that are not playing, and it comes to the last manager whose ego was bigger than his essence. What we've got in here right now, and as I say, I wish Martin O'Neill was a bit younger, but he's not. And you could see that after the cup final, which yourself, Hugh, said 3-1. Thank God I put the 3-1 on to Celtic, although I didn't get it in the 80 minutes. Because at the end of the day, you've got a man who can do all of this, pulling it together from the top to the bottom to make the club better. Now, what happened with the Green Brigade the other day there? Bang out the order. Everybody, everybody to a man will say that. Any decent supporter will say you can't do what they're doing. Quite rightly, Celtic have got to act.
Is the difficulty, Brian, though, how is it in you sound like you're able to take a wider view on things, which is good, but the difficulty is a lot of it is result dependent, is it not? Because it felt galvanised and it felt all pulled together on Monday morning. Didn't feel like it on Friday morning after you saw the kind of same old failings. And you mentioned Brendan Rodgers. Michelin the other night was nothing to do with Brendan Rodgers. So how do we know that? Well, listen, by the way, you could say he signed some of the players, so I do accept that. How do we? Has the other night not changed anything for you in terms of Martin O'Neill?
No, because we've been absolutely rotten in Europe. Apart from that little brief splits. Celtic's problem, and I mean right at the top, was when they walked off the pitch at Munich. They should have galvanised themselves from there and went forward from there. They didn't. They went backwards. They sold players that they should have replaced way before they sold. That is on the board. That is on the recruitment. And that is what the fans that are upset are upset for. It's because we come from a position of strength and we do nothing about it. By the way, Midtjylland were a better team. And they were a better team going into the game than, for all the chat that, who's Midtjylland. I don't care. You look at the top of that, the Europa League. They played very well. Hibs played very well against them in the qualifiers. Excellently well-run team. But Celtic need to be looking at a European-type manager that I really quite like. Shettle Knutson. I really would if it was up to me tomorrow, I would pay whatever it is to get him here. But that's not going to happen until the 30th of November.
Did you not expect a bit more though, given because people thought things were heading in a much better direction after Falkirk and Rangers? Did they not? I don't think we can now say that that first half performance in Denmark was like okay or expected, because there was a lot of optimism on the back of the first two wins.
Well, there should be an awful lot of optimism, because what we were seeing was the horseshoe, and I won't swear on horseshoe, beep, beep, from Brendan Rodgers. Why? I don't know. You would need to ask Brendan Rodgers.
This is my point. This big tactical turnaround that you saw against Falkirk and Rangers, where did it get you on Thursday?
Well, we didn't. We got beat off a better team. End of story. We got beat off a better organised team. That has happened year on year in Europe, apart from that one spike through the little Champions League, the big Champions League thing, where they got a couple of good results, and we were really happy with that. And to be fooled by Brendan Rodgers twice, that's fine. Brendan Rodgers' European record is no any worse than Ange, is no any better than this. But the Ange ball football, the Martin O'Neill ball football, Mon Ball, which is a great book by Paul Larkin, by the way, but his football is about getting the ball forward. I go to every game. I listen to fans every single time, and it is boring Brendan Rodgers football from the beginning of the season. Now, that can't be said that it was to do with the personnel, because look what Martin done in 2 games. Martin O'Neill, we spanked Falkirk 4-0, and the semi-final, which was probably one of the best semi-finals that I've seen for a long time, one of the best Old Firm games that I've seen for a long time. And as I say, it is a master stroke. And I would, if in any capacity we can hold on to Martin O'Neill, whether it be with the, if it's Shettle Newton, and I'm hopeful, whether it's someone else, that Martin O'Neill, because the Martin O'Neill effect has done what you've seen in 2 games, what Brendan couldn't do from the beginning of the season. As I say, that's his ego.
No one is denying that Brendan Rodgers had a poor start to the season, resulting in his departure. No one's denying that at all. But Brian's part of that concerted attempt to discredit Brendan Rodgers, and I think a man who won 11 out of 13 trophies for Celtic does not deserve that kind of reaction. Brian also says it's a masterstroke to get in Martin O'Neill. It's only a masterstroke if he keeps on winning games.
But that's kind of my point. The problem is, because look, Brian's pushing really hard in one direction, so it's just sort of my role here to push back another. I really like Martin O'Neill. I love listening to him. I know that the standing he's got in the game, so it's not like, and I mean, it clearly makes very little difference to me. I'm talking about logically speaking. Forget who the man is then and who the team is. I don't really get how you can get all the credit for 2 wins, but you don't get any of the blame for 1 defeat.
Because as I always say to you, that doesn't suit my argument, and I think that's the way fans are thinking. I agree with you 100%, but I'm sending myself up by using my own
standard, which I get. Listen, we've all got our favourites. That's fine.
Now, I listened and read what Martin had to say at his press conference yesterday. He's now starting to reference the toll that is taken of a man of his age by being a football manager again. I don't think Martin O'Neill wants it until the end of the season, but I don't know where Celtic are going to go at this particular juncture, because I don't see them getting someone in even after the international break.
Yeah, I do. I think they'll be well down the road, but look, it takes time now. We've seen that. Of course it does. I don't think they can afford as a club to get to near the January window and you're still depending on Martin O'Neill. Look, I think he'll still be there after international break, because I do think now to get the right man, get everything into place, all the box ticks, it takes time. It's not just a couple of phone calls, a meeting and then saying, right, sign that contract. I don't think that Martin will be there going into January transfer window, and I think it'll be the right move.
I just feel like the sample size is so small, Cammy. See if Martin O'Neill wins 9, loses the 10th, I kind of get why Brian says look at the difference he's made, and we lost the last one, fine, but I feel like 1-2 lost 1, and yes, against good opposition, all the rest of it. I'm admiring the strength of the conviction that it's still definitely a masterstroke. I feel like we need a bigger sample to know that.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think it was a good move from Celtic. Whether you say it's a masterstroke, it was a good move because they didn't just appoint somebody internally, and then I think that would have put them under a huge amount of pressure with somebody that's not got the experience of the club to take them forward in big games.
There was nobody left.
No, I know,
because
Gavin Strachan was obviously
no,
but what I'm saying is,
the easy one would have been John Kennedy. I totally agree with you. I think it was I'm not saying master. I thought it was a great move.
It was a good move.
Yes, I do.
Absolutely was, and I think that's why they've done it. And listen, I think they understood that the process was probably going to take a little bit longer, and that's why they've done it.
Thank you, Brian. We'll take more of your calls when we return.
Ever wondered what power is? Power is transforming the sun into your own energy source. Power is getting energy companies to pay you. Power is enjoying your morning coffee, knowing you created the energy to make it. Well, you and the colossal ball of fire in the sky. Because with solar panels from Hive, the sun works for you. Hive, know your power. May not cover all electricity usage, roof and weather dependent. Paid for surplus requires eligible SEG tariff.
A Rayo original podcast.
Hiya, it's Gemma Atkinson. And you know what they say? You should never work with animals, kids, or your Spanish partner of almost 8 years.
8 happy years.
Oh, yeah. Join me and Gorka on our brand new podcast, Lost in Translation, where we lift the lid on family life and our perfectly imperfect relationship.
Listen to Lost in Translation now.
On the Rayo app, Apple, Amazon, Music, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
You can't do much in under 5 minutes. Boil an egg? Sure. Cook a roast dinner? No chance. But comparing car insurance prices with mustard.co.uk? Easy. See what you could save in just a few minutes. Click mustard.co.uk. Authorised and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority. See website for details.
Save £788 on the Google Pixel 10 Pro on EE. Talk with Gemini about anything you see.
Anything?
Just point your camera and ask.
Can it tell me what to wear with my new trainers?
Like your very own stylist.
And recipe ideas?
Just show it your fridge. Plus, you get stay-connected data because powerful AI deserves the UK's best network. Offer ends 4th of December.
Savings across contract and device. Terms and credit check apply. Credit by EE Limited. Verify best network at ee.co.uk/claims.
Private healthcare sounds pricey.
At Benenden Health, it's less than £16 per person per month.
Just for GP calls.
For a 24/7 GP helpline, physio, diagnostics and more. Now, tell me.
All about my medical history.
No medical questionnaires or hidden charges. We like to call it
healthcare done different.
Spot on. Benenden Health. Healthcare done different. Fee review periodically. 6-month wait for some services. T&Cs apply. Selected surgical procedures after 6 months. 24 in Northern Ireland. UK only. Visit benenden.co.uk.
Buzzing for the game this week. I want to hear what my mates are saying. I want to tell them they're delusional. I want to tell them who'll score first. I want to call the half-time score and the full-time score. And when our kid pipes up and says, "Want to bet?" I'll stop. Think about it. Check my limits. Check how much I've played. And maybe I'll think, nah, not today, mate. Sometimes the best bet is the one you don't make. Gamble responsibly. Betfred. 18+. Gambleaware.org.
After they play, you have your say. 0141 951 1025. Clyde One Super Scoreboard's open line.
Hugh Keevins, Cammy and Gordon Dalziel are here. Now, usually we watch like Sky Sports News, obviously, or whatever, football, and then if there's a game on, we get the game on in the studio. Goes without saying. Since we started, though, God TV has been on, and there's no judgment for me, of course. If that's your thing, that's your thing. I just think it might be deliberate. I think one of the producers in here is trying to put your life on a different track. Yeah, I think they're hoping that if they put that on in the background for the next hour, subconsciously it might plant a seed, or we might get some divine intervention. I don't know who this guy is.
Well, he's attracted my attention,
but I think it's aimed at you.
Yeah, so they are. I'm desperate for subtitles.
I think Hugh's fine. Hugh's brother's a man of the cloth. I think this is aimed at you. I think
the Tree of Life Church.
Yeah, that cloth, I could probably crack a joke.
It's here right. It's right in your eye line. So listen, this is not. I just feel like we could maybe we should put St Mirren Hibs on. A wee bit more beneficial to us at this moment in time. Anyway, good debate going on at the moment about will it be Martin O'Neill's last game in charge or not, or should it be, or whatever. Brian was so sure that it shouldn't be, and it's a masterstroke, and wants this to, and even when there is a new manager, wants a role for Martin O'Neill. So give us all your thoughts there as well. William is on the line. What do you think, William? I know you'll have a more detailed point, but just to jump us in, will this be Martin O'Neill's last game in charge or not?
I think when we look at it, there might not be a guy out there. I mean, Ange is the obvious one, obvious choice, but there might not be a manager out there at this time within these 2 weeks during the international period. It's a hard one to say. I would expect, the way Martin O'Neill's talking, that I would expect Celtic to have something done within the 2 weeks. So I would lean maybe about 70-30 towards it as being his last game. But to go on about the point, then the difference between Martin O'Neill and Brendan Rodgers, you just have to look at the boy Osmond coming into the side, Trusty coming into the side. I know Donovan was there. So you can see the difference, that there's a second chance for a lot of players at the club. And with Brendan Rodgers, it got stale, and he went back to the tried and trusted again and again, and that's why you've got the problem that the signings haven't worked, because the signings that he did sign, and we'll probably see Shin Namora because of injury. And other things like that, you probably see Trusty's back inside because of CCV's injury. So you could put it down the injury, but you could also put it down to, and you're talking about the small sample size of the 3 games. Surely you've got to look at the squad and use the squad that's available to him. And Maloney's the good thing about Maloney being there is he's come for the pathway, And if he sees anybody that can make the step up, whether people think it's a jump, a big too much of a jump, or it's no, where he brought Osmond into the side, and you could see the difference up front as well, you know. So I think there's a lot of difference, and there's a lot of new beginnings within that squad, and that's where you're looking for. That's where you're looking for the positivity to come from. That's what Martin O'Neill gives you.
I think Callum Osmond's the obvious example. Austin Trusty's interesting because we'll never know, but given the way the defence struggled at Tynecastle, if Brendan Rodgers had stayed, I don't think it's crazy to suggest he then brings Austin Trusty in for the next game.
No.
Be very surprised if he stuck with the same back four after what happened at Tynecastle. Anyway, we'll never know. Callum Osmond's a great example. He's now injured, which looked serious. William's right, it might need to be shin. So I think the thing I was mentioning about sample size, though, is not so much to take anything away from Martin O'Neill. It was more about kind of leaving it neutral. So Brian wanted to go the other way and say what we've seen so far is proof that it's great. That maybe then sounded like I was saying that we've not seen anything yet. I just feel like you just kind of, it's just not enough to make a huge opinion either way. Could Celtic have beaten Falkirk 4-0 under Brendan Rodgers?
100%.
Probably. Yes, it was a bit more direct, I get that, but I think it would feel easier to make a call on whether you want Martin O'Neill if you see 10 games where the ball is put forward more often and it's really working. Because again, we're only 90 minutes away. I don't think Celtic will lose to Kilmarnock tomorrow by any stretch, but if they did, would we seriously still get a call on Monday going, it's definitely still a masterstroke? It is too few games to be sure.
Right, the highlight's quite simple. Martin O'Neill's come in and gave one or two players a little, bit of confidence that were probably lacking in a few weeks ago. He's given one or two players a wee opportunity. You look at the difference in Johnny Kenny, but Osmond comes in as well, and the fans jump on, well, why was he never played, or why would we never see him under Brendan Rodgers? Well, that's up to Brendan Rodgers. He's a manager at the time. But the big thing for me, Gordon, is I'll always believe that a guy of the stature of Martin O'Neill will give everybody a lift in the club, right? I really do. The problem for me is, can they sustain it? We've seen it a million times. We've seen guys getting a lift, getting an opportunity, fans going, where's this guy been? And then 4, 5, 6 games later, you cannot maintain that, standard. And that's where the problem rises.
William has all sorts of faith in what he calls new beginnings, as if Celtic were sitting on a conveyor belt of young talent. They're not. Callum or Osmond, very, very unfortunate. He looked terrific when he came on at Hampden, scored the goal against Rangers, won the penalty against Midtjylland, and what happened to him was a real shame. But he's out for a long time. That I don't sense there being other young players who are going to come in. Celtic are going on a game by game basis, as you said earlier, Gordon. If any points were to be dropped against Kilmarnock tomorrow, let's say it was a draw, and we're talking hypothetically, and Hearts beat Dundee United, that'd be 11 points ahead of Celtic.
Good fixture though on paper, and the Kelly fans are more than entitled to call us disrespectful if it goes wrong. It's just the way the form guide is. This is based on current form. This is the one fixture Celtic would pick tomorrow. It's at home against a team that's lost their last 5.
Four. Again, one of my old clubs. So, but again, you look at going to Celtic Park when you're out of form. It's really difficult. They've got a goalkeeping situation that isn't ideal for Kilmarnock. So yeah, everything's against them. I think it's a really good fixture for Celtic to face at this moment in time. But listen, it'll be interesting because it's all about the reaction. What reaction does Martin O'Neill get from his players from such a big disappointment on Thursday night? And that'll tell its own story to see what if Martin O'Neill makes changes, whether the players respond to that. So I think there'll be a lot of questions answered tomorrow at the game. I do believe it was a good move to bring him into the club, but I think after the disappointment you always learn a lot in the next game.
What sort of time frame do you think Celtic are working to then, William? So the only reason I asked it is not because I thought it would definitely be the last game, but usually international breaks sometimes change things. Do you think we're nowhere near Martin O'Neill's final game in charge?
I think you can see it in Martin O'Neill himself. I think he's sort of undecided in how long he wants to stay. I think he would probably like to go to the final. he would probably see it. And I think the managers out there would dictate that, because I don't see... I mean, Ange is the obvious choice for me. I would have him in a minute, but would he come back? I don't think he would, in my own opinion. So I would like to see Martin Neil get to the final. But if there's somebody out there that can do a job, but you don't want to... It's not a short-term thing. You can't have... I don't think you can look at this appointment as a short-term answer. So you've got to look at somebody and you've got to do your homework and you've got to get the right decision, because this squad, we're talking about the squad itself, I think it looks spent. It looks spent under Brendan Rodgers. Martin Neil was put a little bit of life back into the squad because he's used the squad more than Brendan Rodgers would have. So I think the squad is still decent. It's not spent as people would say it, but there is a lot of work to be done, and obviously at the top end of the pitch it needs recruitment there. So I just think there's a lot of work in the next few months, in the next 3 months. January's going to be big because we never usually do a lot of business in January, so we would need to do a lot of business in January for this squad to go on to next season, and that's me looking forward into the next season with a new manager in place.
So much of what surrounds Martin O'Neill is based on sentimentality for me, because he hasn't worked in football at all for 6 years, and the fans believe in him because of what happened 25 years ago and because of Seville, and that's why I think they're going on a game by game basis, because he has their affection, but affection dissipates on the back of bad results. Even my old pal Chris Sutton, who was one of the Martin O'Neill signings and contributed so much to that era, even he has said that he doesn't think that Martin O'Neill should hang around for very much longer. I'm not talking about legacies here. As Martin said, legacies are for Jockstein or whatever. I'm talking about...
When you're dead, I think he said.
I'd rather leave that phrase out for obvious reasons.
Sorry.
I just think so much of this is based on sentimentality, and we have to see how he moves on from here to see if sentimentality goes out of fashion.
Thank you very much to William. It's a good time to call. We can take a look at some of the other games for tomorrow as well, Rangers fans, if that floats your boat. A big day today and kick-off in Paisley as well, all coming next.
The games are over. The talking begins. 0141 951 1025. Clyde One Super Scoreboards Open Line.
About to kick off in Paisley. Hugh Keevins, St Mirren against Hibs, League Cup finalists.
Yeah.
St Mirren against Hibs, how do you think it'll go?
I'm going towards St Mirren, just based on the reaction to the semi-final. They're at home. I think that in Mandaron and Lindaloo up front, they've got real handfuls there. I fancy St Mirren by 3-1.
Oh, yeah. Listen, I think it'll be a tight game. I think when you look at St Mirren's form, league form certainly, it's not been great recently. It's an opportunity at home. I can see it being a draw, to be honest.
I'm going to go a Hibs win. I think they're obviously looking at
Mark O'Hara and Gogic missing for
that
St Mirren.
was the two standouts right away for me. I think they're big players for St Mirren. I think obviously excitement after getting to the final. Hibs need a result. They'll get power and pace up front. I'll go for Hibs.
Okay, Kenny's in Yoker. How are you, Kenny? Hello, Kenny.
Hello.
Go on, Kenny, we've got you now. Take it away.
Hi. How are you guys? All right?
Good, thank you. All good.
Good. So I just want to pick up on one point that you just made there quickly, just regarding the sentimentality effect of Martin O'Neill. To be honest with you, I don't really think we're that daft. It's nice that he's back, yes, but ultimately it's about results. And I just wanted to say, I think it was you, Gordon, he didn't see quite the connection and, how the furor that was going about the Celtic fans and how amazed we are at Martin O'Neill and blah, blah, blah because of the results, the 2 wins, but then a defeat against Midtjylland. I do get your point regarding it. However, the reason why we're up in arms with Martin O'Neill and we're happy is because the Celtic playing staff at most were absolutely miserable when Brendan Rodgers left. Sean Maloney came out and said it. The place was at an all-time low. And I think the reason why we're galvanising in regards to Martin O'Neill is because, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was a day or 2 at the most where we were straight into a game. We won against Falkirk the way we did. Then we beat Rangers. So I think that's why we're all, in such great spirits regarding Martin O'Neill. And not so much, what's he done versus Brendan Rodgers because of what he won and everything else. I think it's just in the relatively small period of time that he had over a few days, he's managed to make us look respectable again.
Have you airbrushed Midtjylland out of history here?
No, Hugh, if you listen to me, I said Midtjylland about 10 seconds ago.
What did you say about them?
I mentioned them in regards to the games. I said I got Gordon's point. What he was saying about he couldn't understand the big, hurrah.
Well, maybe I'm just splitting hairs. That's all. Because I'm not surprised. I'm not asking the Celtic fans to not be happy about Falkirk and Rangers. I suppose what I was questioning was the scale of it or the projection from those 2 games towards I've seen enough to go end of the season. That's what I mean. Of course, you're going to be happier after beating Falkirk and Rangers than you were after Hearts. And on the day Brendan Rodgers walked out, I get the upturn. I'm talking about, is it enough to go, yeah, that's it, look at this, that's enough to want it to the end of the season. Brian, the previous caller, said he wanted Martin O'Neill, and even if a new manager came in, he's seen enough that he wants him to have some sort of role within the club. That's all I'm asking. Not my opinion. I'm asking, is it enough to know?
No.
Yeah, then that's ultimately the point I'm trying to make.
I honestly believe they're going game to game. Kenny, to an extent, I believe, has airbrushed Midtjylland out of the debate altogether. But
then, to be fair, I do also get the counter that Martin O'Neill is can he do much more against Midtjylland? He is just in and the squad isn't in a good place for European competition.
I look at Midtjylland as a condemnation of the squad strength.
Yeah.
There's nothing there, or next to nothing there. So game by game, beginning with Kilmarnock, Hearts are still to go to Celtic Park and very soon. There's a cup final against St Mirren in a month's time. So by the end of the year we'll know exactly what is happening. I still think that Martin O'Neill will be there by default because Celtic either cannot get the man they want or don't know the man they want.
Okay, we've kicked off. Thank you very much to Kenny. In Paisley, St Mirren 0, Hibs 0. Just 1 minute on the clock. Hibs trying to knock the ball about a bit.
Usually scored by now. Yeah. They're not playing very well.
But I think not having the ball won't be a concern for St Mirren. You know how dangerous they are once they do get it. Dan Lindelöf goes down. 2 big laddies, as they say. He's collided with Rocky Bashiri. I don't know who I'd back to come out on top there. That's quite a battle. Lindelöf shown in the last couple of games, his overhead kick and then that rocket he scored against Motherwell last
Eddie
week.
Hearn to put that one on.
Someone suggested to me after Lindelöf banged that one in the top corner against Motherwell that Motherwell had the chance to sign him.
No way.
And he ended up at St Mirren, so that made it feel even better. But there we go. Yeah, actually, I wonder if that's a concerning one, because I'm looking at the contact and I'm not sure.
That looks hamstring to me. Is it?
I just want, because
his knee, maybe.
He banged into Bushiri in a kind of innocuous way, and then he's holding the back of his knee or his hamstring, so it might be a worry for St Mirren. Let's bring in Sharon, who's on the line. Hi, Sharon.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good. What made you call?
Well, I've not phoned in for a good few years, but this manager situation, I've had this idea a few times, but with Martin being back,
right.
I would love to see if Martin would say at the end of the season, and if we could possibly, going to throw a name out there that's not been mentioned, prize Paul Lambert away for Borussia Dortmund to come and work with Martin till the end of the season. We have you to Paul taking over.
Interesting. Not name I'd heard. As Sharon mentioned, Sharon acknowledged that. What do you think?
Another experienced manager, a Celtic man as well. You've got to say. I think it's a risky situation if you're going to go with Martin to end the season. The reason why, you're going to get him into a very important time in Celtic with the January transfer window. Now, the argument will be quite simple. Well, the recruitment team's there. But if you've got a top manager in, he's got to be a part of that. The players come in. Because Celtic will need players. You obviously see it's well documented. They've left themselves very short just now. A lot of injuries involved in that. Paul Lambert... being a manager,
something though, Sharon, what do you mean Borussia Dortmund? Has he got some sort of like ambassadorial role? Because he's not coaching or anything.
He currently works with Borussia Dortmund with their recruitment and youth set up. He joined them in 2025.
Oh, there you go.
And
you're right.
I think if we could prize him away for there, he worked with Martin till the end of the season, learning off of Martin. We have you to Paul taking over at the end of the season.
But he's got Sean Maloney in there, Sharon. So, and Sean Maloney's well documented that he's a very good coach. He's worked at Belgium and everybody and the players.
I would be keeping Sean. With Sean, then when Paul takes over in the summer, Sean being
assistant,
the assistant. Paul Lambert would be coming just for the 6 months to work with Martin to learn the job off him, and then be involved in both the windows, this window and the summer window with Martin, building the team, and then Martin kind of stepping down. And
Sharon, do you really think that Paul Lambert needs to learn how to be a manager? He's been a manager for years and managed a lot of big clubs.
He's been a manager for years, but he's not done managed like a Celtic.
I think the longer the situation goes on, and I'm not decrying Sharon's suggestion, she knew more than we did about Paul Lambert. She knew he was at Dortmund.
That totally passed me by. Genuinely.
Yeah.
Look, but Sharon's bang on. Technical director of Asia and Pacific regions.
Funnily enough, I saw him on TV at the time of Martin O'Neill's appointment, and he was wearing a Borussia Dortmund sweatshirt, and I thought, has he kept that all these years? But it must be a club issue.
St Mirren 1, Hibs 0. Marcus Fraser with the header. I know Stephen Robinson bristles at the suggestion that it's all about set pieces and all that, but they're just good at it. It's not a criticism, it's a well worked set piece. They're big and strong, and actually it's more about how bad is that defending from Hibs. I think they're hoping it's offside because goodness,
it's very tight.
It's very tight.
Yeah, it's very tight. But you say it's good play for St Mirren. It's a terrific ball in.
Well worked, isn't it?
Good header, but he's got the freedom of Paisley to put it in the back of net.
I think it is a really well worked
Hibs
set
need
piece.
to hope that's offside.
Yeah, it did look very, very tight. Whether his legs just offside, it's going to be a tight call. This
it's unthinkable that you get that space at like the front post. I don't know why that surprises me. No, sometimes out of sight, out of mind at the back. You've peeled round a bit, and who's even meant to be marked? He looks off, but is the cross? Is it cut back? No,
behind. Yeah, I think you've got a point.
I don't know if that's definitely.
No, it's very tight. It's very tight indeed. They're taking their time. Yeah,
you need to wait and see. They're still checking it. David Dickinson, the referee, Clydesdale House, having a wee look at the lines. No doubt. Stephen Robinson said he's fair amount of VAR frustrations. Like, this one will just be what it is. There's not going to, I don't think, be any interpretation required. I know there was one in Paisley involving Aberdeen and one involving Hearts, which had a subjective element to it, to use the buzzword of the week. But this is just is it offside or is it not?
You're right though. Listen, if this is a goal, it's really concerning for Hibs, because the space they had is incredible, and it's really poor defending either way, whether it's onside or offside. So
shows you how tight it is, because there's not loads to consider.
No.
Hold on.
No goal, I don't think.
Oh, he's teasing us. No goal. David Dickinson makes the VAR signal, and it is a huge let off for Hibs. Marcus Fraser's looking very surprised. It looks offside, and I don't know what you just you can almost have to roll with it, don't you, with those ones.
Just to round off Sharon's point, Paul Lambert, I'm not sure you could sell him to the Celtic support.
No, he's not managed in Ipswich in 2021.
Yeah, but the longer this situation goes on, Sharon will be among many who will have this idea, that idea, the next idea. Celtic can't afford to let this turn into a circus where it runs on too long, and Martin O'Neill is left holding the baby. He's got the affection and the support of the fans because he's Martin O'Neill, but results will get in the way. Celtic can't afford to let this turn into a drama.
Yeah, thank you very much to Sharon. We'll see how it pans out, Sharon, see what names emerge, and you can feel free to give us a call back. We would love to have you. Big day tomorrow, of course. We've spoke a lot about Celtic there welcoming Kilmarnock, Rangers going to Dundee, champions elect as Hugh Keevins calls them, hosting Dundee United, and Motherwell heading up to Aberdeen. So we're just seeing the graphic there. I think that looks fine. It's also the whole point of VAR in terms of the Hawkeye technology bit is it's not really down to the naked eye. Do you know what I mean? It's meant to do the bit for you. But Hibs have come forward and fired one over the bar. Big day coming up tomorrow, Hugh. Sum it all up for us.
Yeah, huge day. Celtic have got to get back to winning league matches as they started with Martin O'Neill against Falkirk. They've got to do it against Kilmarnock tomorrow. Rangers cannot possibly drop anything against Dundee on Tayside. Hearts against Dundee United, probably the best looking game of the lot tomorrow, but they have to maintain their run at the top of the league. And Aberdeen, a draw in Larnaca, is that enough to make sure that you beat Motherwell? I'm not sure it is.
Hopefully they're knackered. Anyway, Gordon Dalziel, Cammy Bell, Hugh Keevins, thank you very much. Thank you for your calls and your tweets, and that's the beauty of this show. Not a lot of football this afternoon, and yet there you were, listening, contributing, and it ticked along very quickly indeed. 9 minutes gone in Paisley, St Mirren 0, Hibs 0. Whatever happens today, the guys can reflect on it tomorrow with Andrew McLean, and you've got 4 fantastic fixtures to keep you occupied as well. From me though, enjoy the rest of your weekend. The GBX is up next.
In her framing shop, Sally's got an eye for precision, plus a computer full of customer orders and precious memories. There are locks on the doors and sensors on the windows, but what's securing it all is BT Cybersecurity. With business antivirus, cloud protection, and security awareness training, it helps stop threats before they strike, keeping sensitive business data safe. Because protecting your business takes more than just toughened glass and a steady hand. Cybersecurity is everyone's business. Search BT Business Cybersecurity.
Save £788 on the Google Pixel 10 Pro on EE. Talk with Gemini about anything you see.
Anything?
Just point your camera and ask.
Can it tell me what to wear with my new trainers?
Like your very own stylist.
And recipe ideas?
Just show it your fridge. Plus, you get stay-connected data because powerful AI deserves the UK's best network. Offer ends 4th December.
Savings across contract and device. Terms and credit check apply. Credit by EE Limited. Verify best network at ee.co.uk/claims.